Chips it, back post unmarked and in from Kamal Miller. Is that the goal that sends them through to the round one best of three? Well, that is the biggest of the three tonight for the Portland Timbers.
Andy Dirt Johnson, Brandon Sprague.
There has now been an update to this. Shams Charania has reported that Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups has been arrested by the FBI for alleged illegal gambling, sources tell ESPN.
Dirt and Sprague on the Fan Sports Network.
All right, 6:02 in the Rose City. Time for Dirt and Sprague on Portland Sports Leader, 105.1 The Fan and the Fan Sports Network. And I don't know if we're going to only hit that sounder one time because...
Hey, what's happening, everybody? Better than Chauncey Billups, that's for sure.
You may got any, yeah. The breaking news this morning, I know you heard it in the open there, but if you're literally just turning your radio on, like, it's a little Thursday morning. Let's get a little Dirt and Sprague here.
A nice little cheer. Look at that opening night for the Blazers. They played hard, entertaining night. Going to be a fun product this year. There's so many Blazer angles to go down today over the next 4 hours. I can't wait to talk about it.
Timbers football.
Yeah, dude.
Nope.
No.
Welcome back to the Jailblazer era in the year 2025, our Lord.
What?
According to Shams Charania and Tom Winter and other news outlets, the guy who coached on the sidelines, side court, the side of the court?
The side of the court? Just off the court?
Yeah. The guy who coached for your Portland Trailblazers, Chauncey Billups, was arrested by the FBI.
Yeah, the FBI. Not feds. Like you got a Dewey on the way home from the game, not some sort of disputes, nothing like that. He was arrested by the FBI this morning.
It, by the way, should be followed up here from NBC. NBC is saying now 7 a.m. is going to be what's the cross-eyed FBI guy's name?
Cash Patel?
Cash Patel.
Is he doing the press conference?
He's doing the press conference at 7.
Okay. We
are going to effort to find where that's airing and just air it live.
Somebody's got to be airing that thing live. We'll try and figure it out.
Let me do something for the... It's my entire show sheet that you're hearing.
Yeah,
and I'm going to throw that away because what's the point of it?
Yeah,
this is jarring.
No magic hat today, folks.
We
will talk to Josh Pate at 8, no matter what.
Yeah, that'll be our pause.
We don't need to do 4 hours. Josh Pate is too important to miss for this. I had a text. I was driving in, and my phone vibrated, and my watch vibrated, and I looked down, and I thought, is something happened? Like, Sprague's got a flat tire. I'm sick. Something happening. Like, why is somebody texting me at 5:30 something in the morning? Like, what's going on here? And I just looked down at my phone. It's a text from my buddy Crawford saying Chauncey Billups got arrested by the FBI. And then I spent the next 5 minutes of my drive doing the illegal thing of I'm like looking down at my, what are you talking about? Like trying to find the breaking news. You got arrested for what? Like you give me more than that. And then I couldn't find it until I got in. And then, turned on 105.1 The Fan. And they were talking about Chauncey Billups getting arrested this morning.
I saw the tweet from Shams. I had, setting up, was getting audio, getting ready to have a fun Thursday show with some sports talk. And then I saw the tweet and it's only one sentence.
Just simple, to the point.
But my brain stopped at the word arrested because I'm like, oh my God, he got a Dewey, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then I don't know, I paused at the word arrested and then the next 3 words, by the FBI. And I just went,
wait, what? Excuse me, what?
And I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of things that shock you. This is the most shocking thing to happen, I would say, in the Trailblazers' history.
It's hard to find one bigger than this. Paul Allen dying was a huge story, but we knew he was sick for a long time. Yep. So I think whenever you get the announcement, it's like, oh, my God, Paul Allen has died. It's a bit of a gut punch just in terms of breaking news.
There's been some bad moments
outside
for
of
the
that.
franchise.
There's been players that have gotten in trouble. There's been guys that have gotten hurt. There's been guys that have gotten traded. But
nothing like this.
Dude, your head coach just got arrested by the FBI because he's been charged in illegal poker operations tied to the mafia.
Yeah.
What?
He's playing poker at Vinny's house.
He's like, what?
Just like
I don't even know how to react to it. It's mind-boggling. The only sports story that comes to mind similarly, and I'm not comparing the two people, is I remember the day of the PGA Championship when Scottie Scheffler got arrested. Yeah. You see the headline and you're like,
what?
What?
Yeah,
There's
the
no
picture of
way
him
that
in
that's
the
true.
orange jumpsuit.
And then eventually, the video comes
then he
out and
makes
you
his
see him,
tea
and you're
time.
like, "What is no?" You can't. You have a very hard time processing it. That's where I'm at right now with this Johnson.
See,
news.
I hear you, and I think that's a good example. But like even that took 10 minutes for us to go. Oh,
this is yeah.
Yeah, it was a cop that got a little over his
Yeah.
britches
Yeah.
and took his job too seriously and didn't realize he was the
The
number one player
feds
in the
don't
world.
get arrest warrants just because
No, on a
somebody
whim.
has a hunch.
The three
Hey.
letters of FBI, like that's what makes this truly kind of a 1-in-1. And so,
Who's
like,
the next head coach going to be?
well, what if somebody else in the organization's going to get arrested for this? So is he the only one playing poker with the mafia?
I would tend to think that he would be because I think they would have arrested the other people already.
Now,
but maybe
mafia
I'm wrong
ties,
there.
how does that how do you guys view that? Like that
That essentially, I have no idea. I've never played a poker game in a mafia tied room.
I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe
thought
they're
you
the
had.
bankroll. Maybe they're the that would be my guess. I don't think there's mafia guys like standing behind breaking people's knuckles for not paying up.
Yeah, it has to do with the money, how the money flows, and I would guess
Yes.
the amount of money.
mafia
Yes.
hanging out in Oregon?
Hey, what's up? Hey, Vinny.
They go
What's
where the
going on,
money
man?
goes. No sales tax.
I'm not saying anything.
No sales.
There are
No
sales.
comment. I respect the mafia and all they've done.
Wouldn't be shocking to you guys to find out that he's trending as Mr. Big Bet right now, would
Yeah, Mr. Big Bet.
it? Big shots done.
Big Shot's gone. He just got inducted into the Hall of Fame too, like a year ago.
I'm legitimately kind of speechless.
No, I'm with
and
you.
We're
I
on
don't
air right now. I
necessarily
just
know,
don't know how to process.
quite where to go.
I told Swag, so we heard the Rozier thing because Swag was in his
Scary
studio
Terry,
down in
yeah.
here, and we had heard the Rozier thing
Yeah, they
on
said Terry
ESPN.
Rozier first, and it was one of the things where, there was a whole bunch of bets on unders and similar stories that we've heard.
We've seen a lot of players that
and
got
we've
tied up
seen
in that.
a lot, and
This one was kind of in the background, right? That it might happen, and as they're talking about it on ESPN, I look down at Twitter and I see the Billups one. And I read it like 7 times, and I triple check that it's the blue check, real Shams blue
Yes,
check.
not Scums.
Yeah.
Scamania.
And I just tell Swag, Billups was arrested by the FBI, and then maybe a minute later, the ESPN show then talks about it.
Yeah, they got to break in at some point.
And Swag becomes the dinosaur expert who sees T-Rex and doesn't move. He doesn't respond to me. He doesn't move at all. And I'm
I
like,
don't know what to say right now.
what?
Uh,
And I'm sitting here turning back and forth, and Swag's just sitting there frozen, and I don't know what to do. This is crazy. Nobody is awake. Here's the other thing.
Nobody's awake.
I bet you some of our local scribes have just been woken up.
Yes, their phones have probably been ringing off the hook for the last hour.
Meringue is supposed to be doing graphic stuff for the fans' social media. I called him twice. He didn't answer. Dude, people are going to be waking up to this in 45 minutes to an hour and go,
huh? This is the day Brandon Sprague decided to oversleep and miss Damian Lillard getting traded. That one day you're like, you know what? Alarm off. What could possibly happen tomorrow? It's a Saturday.
12
I feel
hours
like,
of sleep.
Let
I
me
need
catch up. It's been a long week. Time for daddy to get some sleep. And then you wake up 4 hours after Damian Lillard got traded because your phone's been off all morning. Been texting you, calling you, Sprague, where are you?
Guys, Dame's been traded? Yeah, man, 7 hours ago.
Walk out into the living room. Yeah, buddy, that happened at 7 o'clock this morning. That was at breakfast time. It's now dinner time. But welcome to the day's news.
Talk about just an awful run for Adam Silver.
He's had a rough go lately. Things have not been going swimmingly behind the scenes from a business standpoint. The Clipper stuff is not going away.
The Clipper stuff is not going away.
This getting
people
tied
hate
into it.
the CBA.
Yeah,
Now
it's-
you've got multiple people arrested by the feds. Here's the other part of this. I know we've had NFL guys suspended for gambling, like Jamison Williams famously, right?
And that was usually
What is it about this league where they're the ones being investigated? No other league really seems to have this.
Guys are decently paid. It's guaranteed contracts. I don't understand the desire to want to throw your career away betting on some overs and some unders, but to each their own, I guess. The NFL guys, if I'm not wrong, they've been gambling on other things. They've been gambling on their teams or themselves. Guys have been caught gambling. And was there somebody that gambled on themselves?
Yeah, it was part of a parlay, and they were injured.
Jonte Porter.
No,
No,
I'm talking
no,
about NFL players.
Oh,
Because NFL
NFL.
players have gotten in trouble for
Sorry.
gambling, but largely when they get not arrested, but when they get suspended by the
Yeah.
league, it's because they just broke the rule of you're not supposed to gamble on a team facility and you're gambling on something.
Yeah, it's usually minor stuff like that.
By the way, did you see what just recently got approved in college athletics?
Yeah, they can bet on pro sports beginning November
It's gonna be in
1st.
the magic hat.
Not anymore because there ain't no magic hat today, but now college athletes can gamble on professional sports. What could go wrong?
I was literally going to do that in the magic hat. Like, you guys think this is a good idea?
No, it's a horrible idea. Look, if you're an athlete at that level, there's just one thing that you can't do. That's like the one thing that you got to accept it. You're not allowed to do it. Everybody else can do it. You can't do it.
Well,
And this, at least for now, if you want one silver lining in the Chauncey Billups angle, is that there's been no connection to gambling on basketball-related activity. It's the only connection so far is the mafia-run illegal poker game. And we were talking about it before we came on the air because when the FBI arrests you and poker is the first thing that you read, my initial thought would have been like, if we're really arresting people for having, high-stakes poker games in their basement, I get that that's illegal. What are we doing?
you can literally go to Vegas anytime you want, and it costs you almost nothing with your entire life that you've made money.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
What, go to your own private
But
poker room.
If it's just like some buddies who were gambling a insane amount of money and they got popped by the feds, I would have been a little frustrated. The mafia tie-in is what does it. Like that's how this whole thing got brought down.
You think?
Yeah, that's the big kahuna here.
Yeah.
I think I'm on with Lucy Burge. Trailblazer Moneyline plus 102 tomorrow. Interim coach narrative. Are we now going to gamble on the gambling story?
I mean, at least somebody's got to profit off of this bad boy.
I hit half that parlay.
Hey,
I almost hit the other half.
You
2
almost
for 4.
did.
Pelicans choked.
they
I
tried
know.
to win it.
I don't know where this show's going to go. I just want to be completely honest with you. We got Josh paid at 8.
Josh paid at 8. I am trying to find Cash Patel has his own Twitter feed. I'm hoping that there will be a link or it'll be posted there.
Careful on that Twitter feed.
Well,
I don't know what you're going to get, dude.
I know, but
We will try to air that press
I
conference
will
live at
find
7,
that
okay?
press conference shortly after it begins at 7.
The funny part about this, maybe 3 minutes after it came out, Swag goes, "Do you got a phone number for Shams?"
You got Sham's number? You got anybody?
Yeah, I'm sure Shams is going to respond.
Let's get
to
an
a radio
FBI
station.
news correspondent on the show today.
I actually would love. Well, I mean, I don't know. I think they got to wait for the press conference.
Nobody's
we
going to
got
say
time.
anything before the press conference.
No, but the press
so.
conference will happen at 7 our time, right? So
Well, it's going to be like 7-ish.
Well,
sure,
it's
like
that.
7
It's
3 hours
Rozier,
after that.
and there's other law enforcement officials, and those things tend to go on for a while.
Hey, how about those Blazers last night, huh? Opening night.
This is becoming now people getting
City.
frustrated that it's not other people that they don't want with or around their teams or programs.
Yeah.
Somebody tweeted, "Not Scott Barnes, huh?"
No, he didn't get tied up in this yet, at least, for as far as we know.
He's not allowed to bet on pro games yet. So.
Welcome to NBA ownership, Tom Dundon. Come on down. Sitting courtside at the game last night.
That Law and Order sounder now makes a lot more sense with this franchise.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dude, I'm seriously asking you guys this question. Your phone rings and it's 3:30 a.m. because you've just been called by somebody that your head coach has been arrested by the FBI, and your name is Joe Cronin. What are you even like?
I'm
I'm trying to take the human element here, not
Yeah,
because you're
you
friends.
should do this, and that. It's like, one, you're friends, but
Right.
two,
Yeah.
that's your head coach, and it's the feds. It's not like,
It's the
hey,
fe-
coach
yeah.
had an extra beer, he got a Dewey, idiot. Okay, all right, let's damage control.
It's also not the middle of the offseason. You just played your
Feds.
first game.
The
You have another
first
game
game
tomorrow.
of the
Like you just
season.
started the year, and now
Exactly.
everything is getting thrown out the window. And the first biggest question for the organization is: do you fire him immediately? Do you wait for the charges to be like?
I asked
do you
Swag
wait
that
for the legal
question.
proceedings? I don't know how they're going to handle it.
Being
because
arrested by the FBI is different than
he
getting
very well could be out of a job in the next.
Well,
6 hours. Like
yeah,
I wouldn't
I
be
don't know.
surprised if it happened. I don't know if they'll move that quickly, but that's in play.
Well,
that we're
they
before
gotta
we're
know,
off the air, he's fired.
They need to hear. Obviously, he's on administrative leave or whatever until they can figure out what this actually is.
What's the percentage rate of feds arrests that get arrested and they don't
don't-
get charged with anything?
So the question is,
This is a RICO case, right?
yes.
yeah,
So like,
Are
how
they-
often do they do those arrests and it doesn't happen?
Are they
can't be
looking
a high
for a
percentage.
plea deal to get information on the mafia group so they can go get them?
You're
But
gonna
even
s-
then,
you're
if
gonna
he's
snitch
taking
on
a
the
plea
mafia?
deal, then he's still fired as the head coach of the
But
Portland
yeah,
Trailblazers.
He's also a snitch if that's what's going to happen. You're tied to the
know.
mafia,
Yeah,
buddy.
I'm
I
not
don't
pleading
know.
out of anything, man. I'm doing my time in that case.
He's not going to be on the sidelines
You
for a
start
while. I don't
traveling
see
in those
that.
worlds, you're you do your time in that case.
Dude. Crazy.
Wild day. This is one of the stranger, weirder days that we'll ever have on the air. Breaking right before we're on the air.
If I would have told you a week ago, hey, season prediction, Sprague, top 3 things. Shade and development. How will Young prove to be as a backup center? Spoiler alert, first game not great. And Jailblazer era will return again.
Keep
Not
your
on
head
the
coach
bingo
out of
card.
federal prison. How about that be a goal for the year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's going to be a show.
Buckle up.
Buttercup. We will get the press conference live at 7 from the feds. Chauncey Billups, you're just getting in your car, has been arrested by the FBI this morning for illegal poker operations tied to the mafia. I wish I could tell you I'm joking. That's legitimately what it is.
Not a joke, man.
So, all right. What's that like to be a neighbor of Chauncey Billups this morning and the feds show up?
God, would you guys keep it down out there? What's with all these
What
lights?
are the lights in here?
You think they knocked on the door? Did they bust it down?
I think you knock.
You think you knock first, and then if nobody answers? But it's 4 o'clock in the morning when you got arrested. Are you answering the door if somebody knocks on your door at 4 o'clock in the morning?
Here's a very valid question. They obviously knew they were going to arrest him. Why did they not arrest him before the game? And you get an indication from somebody that you're going to be arrested, right?
I'm sure lawyers
I don't know
were
how that
talking
works.
to lawyers and
Something had to. He had to
Something
have
probably
known.
had to have been approved by a judge. You know, like you
Crazy.
got to, cross certain barriers. But yeah, I don't know how it. I don't know what plays into that.
Well, you know what? Let's make it an even more wild show. Text into the fan text line today because we
Hey.
don't know what to think right now, but we're just going to continue to roll on here. 503-864-6326. We will have to take a pause here, and I'll be interested to hear Josh Peta, like, what would he think if his coach of his favorite team got arrested by the feds?
How do you react to that, Josh?
Josh, good or bad encouraging news? The feds have arrested a head coach. He'll be on at 8 a.m. today. The Magic Hat, yeah, I don't want to punt it, but this is the hat, okay? The hat is one magic trick of the feds. So, all right, we'll try to get some more information, and we roll along on a Thursday edition Dirt and Sprague. Good morning, happy Thursday on 105.1 The Fan. Well, good morning. If you did not play poker with ties to the Mafia this morning, you're having a better morning than Chauncey Billups. Mr. Big Bet, been arrested by the feds. I know some of you are like hanging with us the whole show. I love you guys. I really do. I just kind of have to update the news cycle for the people just turning on the radio or getting in the car.
A lot of people will get the alert, wake up and say, wait a minute, what? And then run to the radio. So, yeah, Chauncey Billups got arrested by the FBI this morning. So how's your Thursday going?
Mine's going better than his.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. Swag is going to pull audio. We were not given any audio from the postgame last night. Swag is going to pull audio, and there's nothing in particular about the audio from Billups in the postgame that is at all tied to this story. I more just kind of want to hear a guy that has to know in the back of his mind he's hours away from being arrested by the feds.
I'd have to imagine there was an inclination there, but I don't know how that works. I don't know if they spring it on you randomly at 4 o'clock in the morning and that's how you find out and you're just shocked when you get woken up in your pajamas and that's how you're arrested, or if you have legal representation who is alerting you ahead of time that something might. I don't know. Right? I don't know how that works. I have no idea. Terry Rozier is still in the NBA. He did not play last night.
Yeah.
It was a coach's decision.
He's in Orlando.
But that stuff had also been like percolating for a while. Like that, the Chauncey stuff came out of total left field this morning. So I don't know. It's a great question of if he had any idea this was going to happen last night, and if he did, it's going to make his press conference very interesting. Or maybe they truly kept this under seal and then sprung it on him at 4 o'clock in the morning today.
The only reason and if anybody out there in law enforcement ties can say like, yo, Sprague, actually they don't. They will show up and arrest you. Then, dude, I'm not acting like I'm an expert at this like whatsoever.
Anybody in the FBI listening to the show right now? Shout us. What's going on?
You know, sometimes those people are your neighbors.
You never know. They could be.
Susan's delightful. The cookies are great, but she'll bust you for what you're doing.
She works for the CIA, man.
I'd imagine because of like flight risk stuff, you'd want people to be aware it's happening. But again, maybe I have no idea.
See, and I would go the other way. I would say flight risk. If you had a heads up that you were going to get arrested, doesn't that make you more of a flight risk? Now, Chauncey Billups, I don't think is running. He's the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers.
I guess if you don't know, you can't be a flight risk.
Exactly.
You don't know.
I think that's the whole point of you keep it under seal as long as you possibly can to make sure that you can spring it on them and that somebody's not going to run away.
Kudos to you. We're going to be all over the place and wrong about a lot of legal stuff here because we just aren't very versed in it.
We don't get I didn't think I was going to have to talk about FBI gambling sting operations on sports radio. I didn't think that was going to be a thing when I got into this job.
Here's the other thing. So Swag pulled a cut. We'll get to the cut. So I said in the last segment, we kind of been talking on and off the air about like, if you're the team and you're Joe Cronin and this call happens to you, what do you do? And it administratively... And I think you nailed it with exactly how you said it, but I have absolutely landed on, no, I'm actually done, and I'm telling him, hey, I'm sorry it's happening, but you're fired. You are worth $100+ million just in contract value, right? Has to have been from his career, now his coaching. You can literally gamble at any casino from a private jet, and it doesn't impact your life.
Dude, they got high-stakes games up at A&A. Drive your ass up there 45 minutes up the highway and go play in a high-stakes game.
The fact that you're doing this, I want nothing to do with that kind of...
No, he makes $2 million a year to be the head coach of the Blazers, roughly somewhere in there.
What was his contract totals from his playing career? Because I know he was before the big boom, but
yeah,
I'd imagine he made like $70+ million.
106.8, approximately $106.8 million by the end of his 17-year career.
Now, I know there's taxes and whatnot, but I'll also tell you right now.
Yes, that's not all take home.
Guess who owns a bajillion McDonald's franchises? Mr. Big Bet.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not like these guys just have money, sit on, and do nothing with it. Guys like him get connected. Operation ties to the Mafia.
Yeah.
And so, like...
There's no chance he's the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers.
There should be an email within the show dirt that says he has been fired.
Whether the organization wants to do it or not, there's zero world that the NBA allows him to remain the head coach of the Blazers with this going on. And that's not even on an interim standpoint. That's not even like, let's make him step away for a while. I don't care what the long-term legal process here looks like. There's no way the NBA is willing to dabble in having one of their head coaches potentially be tied to gambling with the Mafia. Like, that's out. That's a non-starter for the league. They take this stuff very seriously. Players have been banned. That's obviously different when you're gambling on games or gambling in poker, but they're just not willing to put up with that PR hit. Chauncey Billups is not important enough for them to overlook it. The Blazers are not important enough for them to overlook it. You can make a pretty strong argument, and I'm trying to not go too far this morning because this is shocking, and we're all trying to process this in real time.
We want to be fair and get information.
News has only been out for 45 minutes. I am willing to say today that his career in the NBA is done. Like, he's done. It's
how
over.
do you hire him back?
You're not hiring him back. He's not going to be a broadcaster. He's not going to be a assistant head coach. He's not going to be you're done. It's over.
He might be going to prison.
Exactly. Well, that's the first step, but he's not going to go to prison for the rest of his life for this.
No, probably not.
But his career in the NBA and his career with basketball from a professional standpoint is over.
Well, and you hate to, again, I'm not trying to be hyperbolic here, but you almost have to be like the reputation shot as well. Like, that's...
Yes.
Arrested by the feds with mafioso ties, like that's not, you're not being brought back at Detroit for a celebration. You know what I mean? Like,
no. 20-year anniversary of them winning the title. Let's bring Chauncey Billups back into town. Like,
it'd be like the early '90s Blazers. Everybody's back except Clyde. It's like the whole Pistons team except the Finals MVP's not there.
Yeah,
and
Mr. Big Shot himself. We're just gonna go no comment here. Where's Chauncey? No comment.
Oh, wild.
This is one of the crazier stories that I can ever remember.
This is the craziest story in franchise history. I really do. I know there's some shocking ones. You find out a player gave a cop his playing card as his identification.
Yeah.
You found out a player graduated with a biology degree, and after that graduation ceremony, took aluminum foil through a metal detector.
He did, yeah.
You know, there are moments that you don't forget.
Wait, that doesn't work? You telling me I can't do that?
This takes the cake. So we'll hear the last post-game opening statement from Chauncey Billups' career as the coach of the Blazers, and also the
fun little game last night.
It
was a good game. It was. It's a really good game.
The obvious thing too here is like, I'm Tom Dundon. I'm giving you billions of dollars. I don't care if I'm technically the owner.
Yeah.
You have gotten a phone call from me that says, drop it now.
Yeah.
Get rid of him. I needed it to be announced. I am not walking into a franchise that is administratively left a coach out there because he may or may not have actually done this with the Fed arrest. You know what I mean? Like, Dundon has to have already made a phone call.
Yes, I would care to guess, especially since he was in town, which was a whole other side thing that I wanted to talk about today. Every time they showed him, whether it was on purpose or inadvertently because of the camera angle, I did laugh out loud that he was sitting, Jody Allen was sitting in between him and Joe Cronin, and every time they showed him, Jody was just sitting, not saying a word, arms folded, and him and Joe were just going back and forth talking. And I'm like, yeah, that kind of sums up the entire reason why I'm now excited. He has his hands on everything. He had his hands on the extension. He's buying the team, officially in a couple of months. He's going to have his hand in this, and Chauncey Billups will not be the head coach of the Blazers in 3, 2, 1.
One of our listeners says an informant worked with the FBI before the FBI got to Chauncey. This was a boom bust. Jeez, dude, just on.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think he had any idea.
No, I think you're right.
This was going to happen.
I walked that one back. I think you're right.
Just
damn.
If he did, it would have made the press conference very interesting. Of like, man, how does that feel to sit in front of the media and answer questions just in the back of your mind? Like, you guys have no idea what's coming for me in a couple of hours. It's been fun. Like, I was wondering why he was in such a melancholy mood last night. What's wrong, Johns?
All right, well, we'll get to a little bit of audio. We'll roll on the press conference in a half hour from the FBI on the arrest of the Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups. We're back with more, but first, Swag with the sports update.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, the news broke about an hour ago this morning from Shams Charania and ABC News that Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups was arrested after their season opening loss by the FBI. Part of an illegal gambling inquiry. Billups' arrest is related to an illegal poker operation that has ties to the mafia. He is expected to appear in court later today. An FBI press conference on this arrest is scheduled for 7 a.m. this morning. As for that season opening game for the Trailblazers, they controlled for 3.5 quarters against the Timberwolves. Then Ant Edwards took over. He was a closer, led an 18-9 run to finish the game, handing Portland a 118-114 loss. Ant finished with 41. Jeremy Grant, coming off the bench, led Portland with 29 points. They'll try to prepare to play Golden State in town Friday night. Thursday night football featuring a couple of teams navigating injuries. The Vikings visit the Chargers. Carson Wentz remains the starting QB from Minnesota. J.J. McCarthy not yet back from an ankle injury. 5:15 kick on Prime Video. Chargers 3.5-point favorites. Portland Timbers shook off their shaky regular season finish and gave Real Salt Lake no chance in the MLS Western Conference wildcard game. They get a brace from Felipe Mora in a 3-1 victory. Timbers now move on to face San Diego in a best-of-3 series. Game 1 this Sunday. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Your home for
Sit around the house, get high and watch a tube.
Well, there's more. It's just probably going to keep trickling in as the show goes on. Good morning. Happy Thursday, everybody.
Yeah, what's the head count end up being by the end of the show today?
I don't know. How many people did Gilbert Arenas tell on?
Hey, Gilbert. He got off. He was arrested and then the charges were dropped.
He had something similar.
Yeah.
Suddenly he was just like, hey, yeah, you're good to go.
Never mind. That's our bad. Our bad, Gilbert.
Just kidding. Damon Jones,
The
former
latest
NBA
one.
player and current assistant, has now also been arrested.
Yeah. So the head count's now up to 3. Rozier, Billups.
Well,
and Damon
Rozier's
Jones.
one is different. It's
Well,
actually
there's-
not tied.
Yeah.
The report, at least I saw, was that
Sure.
Rozier's is different than Billups' thing.
He was gambling on a separate thing, but also I think it was a part of the same FBI sting. So
Yeah.
In
Well,
that regard,
yeah.
it's one big. And I don't know if he was gambling over unders with the mafia, and Chauncey Billups was playing poker with the mafia. I don't know how closely connected the mafia is. As I look up to Josh Pate talking some college football on ESPN, hey, he's going to be on the show at 8 a.m. We just got a few things to delve into before we get there. Yeah, the list is now at 3, and I imagine we'll have a few more names coming out before
Your TV's way ahead of mine.
in the next hour or two.
Yeah, I think this is it's going to be a wild one, guys. There's only so much information we can provide, and I think as we roll on, obviously at 7 a.m., if you're just getting in your car this morning, Chauncey arrested by the FBI for illegal poker stuff with ties to the mafia. There is going to be an FBI press conference supposed to start at 7 our time, but
Said I saw the actual release. It said approximately 10 a.m. Eastern time. So they've got
there's a window.
the director of the FBI, the head person for the New York, apparently. So the mafia is based out of New York. I'm guessing that's where they're basing this. So that guy, somebody from Homeland Securities, and the chief of the New York Police Department. So,
All right, well, we'll probably go live to that press conference. Have
I
you
am
found
looking
what channel
for
to do it?
links as soon as they pop up.
Okay.
It's just wild that one game into the season.
Yeah,
Like,
right in a season
all
that
of the
felt hopeful.
conversations that we had yesterday about the optimism
Yep.
and the I thought they displayed a lot of that with the way that they played last night of like, man, this could be a fun team to watch this year. They're going to play hard. Defensively, they're going to be good. They're going to get out in transition and run. Like, there were a lot of takeaways last night that were really encouraging. It was fun to get Blazer Vision and watch the game, and it was great to be able to watch the game on an iPad. You and I are in cahoots now as Blazer Vision subscribers.
Yeah, look at us. We partnered
Like,
on Blazer Vision,
We
Swag.
did, and now everybody's texting in or chiming in on YouTube with similar jokes of like, can I get my over for the season bet back? Like, can I cash that out? Is that
Actually, I think that's a very fair thing. I saw this weekend there was, God, there was an injured player. And I see this from time to time, and I kind of think like that, I don't get that when that happens to me. There was an injured player, and because they got injured, one of the sports books gave people's prop bets back.
because he didn't finish the game or he didn't play
but
or
that's
whatever?
part
Yeah.
of the bet.
That's part of the bet.
I've lost
yeah.
prop bets with guys that got injured. I've taken over in rushing totals, and then the guy gets hurt with a leg injury. And,
Yeah.
well, he's got 20 yards. He's supposed to go over 59 and a half or whatever. Like, I've not gotten my money back. And it feels very weird to talk about this today because
No, it doesn't, dude. These things are totally different. Like illegal gambling with the mafia is one thing. You betting $5 on a rushing prop in an NFL game is drastically different.
$5 is a bit high for my blood.
That's too big of a. Don't lay the big wood that way. We'll lay a little bit smaller wood. How about $2.50 bets? Like those things are totally different. Or an NBA player like Terry Rozier gambling on the over unders of players or himself in NBA games, and that's why he's gonna never be able to play in the NBA again. So I know that the thing is a slippery slope for some, and some people were fearful that this was going to happen. Let's not sit here and pretend as if there was never any connection from organized crime into sports gambling when it was all under the table. This has been around forever. We had a team throw a World Series in 1919. We had college basketball players that were tied up into this for throwing games. Like, this has been around forever. It's just now above board, which I would argue is a good thing because it allows us to track this stuff and see when suspicious activity is actually going on. And again, it should be noted that Chauncey, to this point, is separate from the gambling on games, gambling on the NBA conversation. We'll see if anything else comes out at the press conference, but as of now, he is not implicated in that. But I think whenever these players get arrested or something happens, it highlights why it's a positive that it is above board for me, because they can track activity and say, why is so much money being gambled on the under of a player or the over of a player or the under of a team? And you can go find out why that answer is.
Yeah, that's the thing is like and reportedly this is just poker. If there was ever
Chauncey, yeah.
anything to come out about Chauncey about
Throwing
game
games
stuff,
I mean, that's
different.
then you're officially banned from life from the NBA. Whether
well,
I mean, that's
I also want to be
Pete Rose stuff.
I want to be a little fair here. I still think there's a level of your career and your livelihood where It's not an everyday guy going to his buddy's garage and betting $20 and smoking a cigar for an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Who doesn't do that from time to time or hasn't done that from time to time in their lives? We all do it.
Yeah. So, like, there is a fair, what are you thinking?
You're an idiot.
You're an NBA head coach. You're a Hall of Fame guy. You're a
dad. You're a family man.
Yeah,
what the hell is going on here?
But also, there is a part of me, Dirt, if I'm just being honest here, that's like, I'm also not going to act like the guy committed murder.
No, I mean, no.
It sounds like there's just a big card game that happens with people. So far, based on the intel, it feels like there's big world of NBA coaches and people that play poker, and they shouldn't be playing that kind of poker with those kind of people. But
yes,
I've seen
it's not
worse
O.J.
crimes
Simpson.
committed.
There are obviously layers to all of this, but it goes back to a guy who was. When he was hired, let's remember how his tenure began. His entire tenure began with Neil O'Shea taking a sip of a water bottle to shut down questions of things that he was accused of
in his past,
many years ago. And we don't know what happened there. Nobody was there. It was a very difficult time to talk about it because, again, nobody had the answer. The story resurfaced, and we all had to react to it in real time, and the Blazers did a horrible job at handling the PR around it and the news around it, not realizing it was going to cause such a dust-up. But that was the main concern when he was hired from some, was the character concerns. And so is he going to prison for life for murder? No. I just think you're looking at him and questioning the level of just ignorance and stupidity. I don't pretend to know what it's like to have that kind of money or to operate in certain kind of circles, but there just has to be a nuanced understanding of things that could end your career. And am I willing to throw it all away for what? For what? You can fly to Vegas and gamble hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can fly to Vegas and gamble millions of dollars if you want. Charles Barkley's done this. And how much money do you think Charles Barkley has lost in gambling in his life? Flying to Vegas.
Well, as Swag pointed out, Billups was on the sidelines of the Aces playoff run. So
in Vegas.
He obviously goes to Vegas.
He's hanging out in Vegas. He's there. There's a level of stupidity that he deserves to get punished for, and it's not the same level as somebody killing their wife or murdering somebody with a DUI. But there's a level of stupidity here that you just shake your head at and wonder how did you fall into that rap? Are you in money trouble? Is this a Phil Mickelson live thing where all of a sudden you're like, man, the guy's gambled away $400 million. Oh, that makes sense why he's making that move. Maybe there's more to it. But right now he just looks like an idiot, and he ain't ever going to coach in the NBA again.
We didn't get to the audio clip of Chauncey Billups. We'll get to that. But, man, the show's taking a wild turn this morning because about 20 minutes before we hit the airwaves, it was reported that Chauncey Billups has been arrested by the FBI for a illegal poker operation with ties to the mafia. We roll on. That press conference is supposed to be at 7 a.m., so Swag is efforting. We'll look on social medias to Swag and see if we can find a link, and maybe we can shoot it to you or whatever.
I'd imagine ESPN would roll live on it because it's sports-related. I'd imagine there's an ESPN News or an ESPN channel that will roll live on this.
Literally on the ESPN radio show, the host brought the story up and says, and Chauncey Billups has been arrested by the FBI. The New York Jets owner came out yesterday. Like that, I don't know.
3 minutes into that segment, then they had to pivot back because more breaking news came out. And they were like, by the way, I know we were talking about the Jets. Let's go back into a coach getting arrested by the FBI. How about that?
We roll on with more Dirt and Sprague 105.1, The Fan. There's a countdown clock, so we found the link. We'll go to the press conference live from the FBI on the Billups arrest. One listener says at the fan text line 503-864-6326. When the Mafia tells you to fix a game, you fix a game. There's no say no. I'm just good with playing cards. Come on, guys. And I certainly understand what you're saying.
Yeah, we don't know the answer to that yet.
We don't.
I just that's.
It's not about playing cards. I'm not mad about the play. Well,
no.
It's just like you're a head coach.
It's the stupidity of it.
If you were a head coach, if I told you right now you could be the Blazers head coach.
Make $2 million a year to coach in the NBA.
And you're like, well, I shouldn't be, but okay. And I tell you, delete your DraftKings account right now and don't play cards.
Cool. Sounds good to me.
Would there be a universal, like everybody would do it?
Where do I sign?
Maybe struggle with it because addiction's real, but like I think that's kind of the thing is like you're a coach of the NBA. Like wait till you retire to do card stuff. I don't know if it's worth it.
There are also legal ways to gamble. There are legal ways to do this.
I know. Yeah, the governor of Illinois, he just did tax stuff, and he made like 1.4
playing
million.
blackjack.
Exactly.
He was playing blackjack. He made $1 million last year. He had to declare it on his income.
You have to pay taxes on it.
You know what? You don't declare income from a mafia poker game because it's cash and it's illegal. Somebody asking the clarification of like, wait a minute, I played poker with my buddies forever. You telling me that's illegal? It's like, no, getting together with your buddies and playing poker games is not illegal. I think the line that you can't cross is when there's a host of the game and the host of the game is taking a cut of
there's
the
a house cut.
There's a house cut, and that's what my guess is here is the Mafia was hosting the poker games, taking a massive cut from the money that these coaches were putting in. We've all watched The Sopranos. We know how this works. Guys show up with a couple $100,000. You put your money down, and then the host is taking a little bit of that at the end of the night. That's where you get into the illegal waters.
Well, and for all
not
we
to
know,
mention it's the Mafia.
Yeah, and we'll wait to see what the press conference. All we know, he got contacted by one of these guys that's been arrested, and he showed up and played, we don't know if he's actually tied and friends with the Mafia. It's just the fact that you were playing the card game at the Mafia.
We don't know.
Situation. We will go to the press conference. Here is the last, potentially. I guess we should air that in caution. Potentially.
Potential, yes.
Be weird if he came back, though, as the coach, wouldn't it?
Him doing the pregame press conference on Friday. So I know you guys got a lot of questions. Unfortunately, at the
what if he did it with his lawyer and his lawyer just talked and he just stood there?
My lawyer has told me that I can't answer. It's an ongoing investigation. But if you guys want to talk about the starting lineup tonight, hey, how about my idea to bring Jeremy Grant off the bench? Do I look like a genius right now?
He did okay last night, didn't he?
He looked pretty good.
He did motivate Jeremy Grant.
He looked pretty good.
Here is potentially Chauncey Billups' last post-game opening statement.
Yeah, a lot of good, man. I thought we played our butts off. I really do. Everywhere. Defensively, we were kind of everywhere. We made them work and earn every single thing they got. I'm proud of us. I thought we played good enough to win. I mean, we lose one quarter of the game, and obviously it was the most important quarter. A couple tough plays late. But so many good things to take away from this game. I think you see how we want to play and who we want to be, and so I'm happy with the effort. Obviously disappointed with the loss. Played good enough to win. We deserved to win that game.
Yeah, I don't really disagree with anything he said.
No.
We haven't even talked about the game, but we'll get to that eventually.
It was a really fun night. I enjoyed this text from one of our listeners. Said, the NBA and Blazers had me completely disinterested. Now I'm back. This is so fun and exciting. Who needs a serious team with a front office capable of doing their jobs when you have a coach getting arrested for illegal high-stakes poker games? This is fun.
You know what's interesting is I know sports gambling is going to become a big conversation today for obvious reasons, and I think very fair reasons. Because every outlet and podcast is going to be like, coming up next, Chauncey Billups has been arrested by the FBI. Brought to you by DraftKings. And it's like, but I just got my latest edition of Golf Digest because I can't be unsubscribed from that magazine.
No, it comes every month. When you sign up for a handicap, you will get Golf Digest every month until you are buried 6 feet into the earth.
Here's the thing. I haven't signed up for a handicap in a year and a half.
It's not going to stop. It will never stop. Golf Digest sends it. You're not getting off
I'm not mad at it. I get a magazine, right? I read it. I just literally read an article on Sunday about a guy who refused to tell you his name, but he's basically called Mr. Fix-It. And he goes into depth, and he says that there's golfers, and he goes, no, not the left-handed one that you'd think. But he's like, there are golfers that go to Vegas, and they lose their minds. They can't stop playing, and they keep playing, and they keep betting and betting and betting, and now they owe the casino $500,000. So instead of saying, I can pay you back, because most of these guys don't have that kind of money available.
Ready, liquid cash.
These guys will just go to Vegas and they'll make good on the money by doing multiple appearances. And he's the guy that has to organize this.
That's wild.
He goes, of all the sports, golfers are the most saintly in terms of sports gambling or gambling in general. But there are some ones on that tour that have deep, dark secrets they don't want you to know about. And so when they go do these like meet and greets at the Aria,
I'm wondering why this guy's been at the Wynn every weekend for the last 6 months. What's going on here, dude?
He's doing another autograph signing.
Autograph session in the ballroom.
Yeah, because he owes them a ton of money. It was an interesting article and just coincidentally lined up with the topic matter of today.
Didn't Bruno Mars have that too? Wasn't Bruno Mars the same way where he was in Vegas performing and then
reportedly
gambled away every penny that they paid him?
Yeah.
Ended up owing them money after a string of shows.
All right, let's get to the second hour. We'll have an FBI press conference to get to start the second hour. What a Thursday.
Never thought we would play an FBI press conference on our show.
Neither did I, Andrew. Neither did I. The Feds coming up next, hour number 2, Dirt and Sprague, 105.1, The Fan.
A Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, breaking news, we are awaiting an FBI press conference from New York as the news came a little over an hour that Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups was arrested overnight as part of an FBI illegal gambling inquiry. Billups' arrest related to an illegal poker operation with ties to the mafia. He is expected to appear in court later today. The Blazers' season opener looked good for 3.5 quarters. Then Anthony Edwards of the Timberwolves took over, led them on an 18-9 run to finish the game, handing Portland a 118-114 loss. Ant finished with 41. Blazers host the Golden State Warriors Friday night. Portland Timbers coming up big in the wild card game after a shaky regular season finish. They get a brace from Felipe Mora and beat Real Salt Lake 3-1. They will move on to face San Diego in a best-of-3 series, Game 1 this Sunday. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of prime time.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Baseball? Is baseball still going on?
Dodgers might go back to the World Series.
Dodgers, I like their chances to win the NLCS. Keep an eye on that Springer guy, too. Maybe late in the ALCS. He seems hot. Might have a big moment.
I don't know much about coaching baseball, managing baseball games. I don't know if I'd pitch to that guy if I was deep in a Game 7 situation.
Yeah.
Just keep an eye on that one.
I don't know if I like the Bizzardo-Springer matchup. Stay away from that in Game 7. If you can, if you get to a Game 7, just file that away.
Second hour of the program's kicking off, and I feel like we're kind of, us and the listeners, of course, and there's been some corrections. We had a officer text in. No chance he knew this, so thank you for that.
That's why they do it at 4 o'clock in the morning. Bang, 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 your door's going down. Chauncey, you're getting locked up.
I may have misspoke. Chauncey not owning a million McDonald's. It might be Wendy's.
Could be Wendy's.
You know, could be a Frosty guy.
Who doesn't love a good Frosty? I love a good Frosty.
It's Frosty in federal prison. The Blazers had almost a good win last night, but they lost. But it was a good game, and
That was a really entertaining, fun opening night game.
but their coach was arrested by the FBI this morning.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Just waking up, and I've called Danny Moring a million times. I'm pretty confident that so far nobody locally outside of us
Not a single local scribe
and
has-
the local TV people doing the news right
sure,
now.
they're on. That's definitely the case. The local scribes are not awake yet. And
I don't think. I think they're just waking up. To
I
it.
sent a tweet out, and this is the funny part about when you get up so early for work and you actually get massive breaking news at this level, is thinking about all the people who are still asleep, they're gonna have a bomb dropped on their head. Their alarm's gonna go off. They're gonna wake up whenever that alarm goes off, and they're gonna wake up to probably 37 missed calls, 842 text messages, everybody wondering where they've been. Everybody have fun when that alarm goes off this morning.
So we're going to air the press conference live. Swag is going to let me know when we're
I
going to.
got the link. There's a camera on a blank podium for the Department of Justice.
When the department people start stepping to the podium, we will instantly shut up and we will air that press conference live because it involves the Portland Trailblazers head coach. And it's just kind of the first hour, really, if you want to go back and listen, you can. It's been a wild experience and journey. I was speechless to did he know, did he not know, to
Well, then
why are you not firing him? Do you fire him? Is he going to be innocent? Like, how is all of this going to go? We don't know. As Tom Dundon made his debut in the Moda Center last night.
It was looking good last night, sitting courtside.
Yeah,
Brighter days seemingly were ahead, and then, that took a quick left turn.
Wonder if he walked the concourse, was like, no orange chicken yet, huh?
Yeah, where's that Panda Express, dude? We need those food upgrades up in here.
Oh, sorry, I'm kind of delaying because I can't tell from Swag's indication if we are going to go live.
Well, I'm wondering how
There's
many.
a press guy announcing who's all going to be up there.
Yeah.
Because I think the initial report said that more than 30 defendants were charged in this, and so I don't know how many of those names we know. Maybe a lot of those names are non-sports names, and that's why they're not being reported right now.
Damon Jones and Chauncey are two coaches we've heard of.
Yes, and so when you say 30 defendants were charged in this, I'm wondering if there's more dominoes to fall. How many more names do we find out? Was anybody else? I'm imagining nobody else in the organization was a part of this, but that's the first follow-up question that I have. Was there anybody else that he's working with that's tied into this? Because, look, Portland's going to move on, and they're going to go find a new head coach, and Chauncey's days are likely done here in Portland. But you just was anybody else implicated in it? There's a lot of follow-up questions that we have.
There's a lot of information we don't
right
have
now.
yet.
There's a lot of information that's still missing.
So we will patiently wait for that press conference by the FBI to try to fill us in. And I think that's just all we can do at this point. We can speculate. I kind of feel I've definitely already thrown some stuff out but I'm more doing it from a curious standpoint because I'm so uneducated in so many legal matters here.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go too far. I just also think it would be one of the more stranger things ever to see him doing a pregame press conference in like a week.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Whether he's fired immediately or not, like he's going to be on a leave of absence. He will not be coaching games on the sideline on Friday. They got a game on tomorrow night.
Yeah, they do. They
at
play
home.
Friday
Like
against
they're
the
not.
Warriors.
He's not coaching in the game. I'll go back to what I said earlier. Whether it's a Blazer call or not, although I'd imagine Tom Dundon's on the phone saying, dude, I didn't even extend this guy in the first place. He's not even my guy. Tom Dundon is known as an owner for somebody who will come in and clean house.
Yeah, if you
wherever he wants to. And so you didn't even need to give him any more reason to. Maybe the disappointing season would have done it if they had a disappointing year. Like, he's not going to stand for this. He's not going to be the head coach long term, and he definitely won't be coaching on Friday night.
Well, who wants to walk into an introductory press conference, I'm the new owner, do the media stuff, and you're just bombarded by guy was arrested by the FBI months ago, or guy was on administrative. Like, you don't want to talk about that.
No, as long as he's not taking a sip from a water bottle and looking over at a PR person telling them to shut down questions, we'll be off to a better start.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong there.
Yeah.
I don't think you're wrong.
Let's clean that up a little bit.
A little bizarre that Jody sat between them and then they talked the whole time.
I think it kind of summed up the entire reason why I was actually getting some flack from buddies yesterday because we were texting in the group chat about the Blazers in the opening game. And of course, when the first half lead happens, the first thought is, anybody else getting overly excited right now?
They were 7 into the fourth, going into the fourth.
Hey, things are feeling good. Vibes are good. And I was having positive things to say, and I had buddies that were making fun of me like, oh, look at Dirt, be positive. And the main reason is I'm excited for new ownership. And I thought last night summed it up with Jody sitting in between Tom Dundon and Joe Cronin and not saying, every time the camera showed them, she was just sitting there in silence. And Tom Dundon and Joe Cronin were talking the entire game, it appeared, whether it's about roster stuff, construction, who the hell knows? I don't know how many times he's been in Portland leading up to this, but I think it summed up the entire process of she's just checked out and doesn't really care. And now you finally have an owner who is invested and cares in his.
She sold the team. She's just waiting for a group of people to say, this is okay, move on. Like,
it has to be
months.
It has to be approved by the other owners, and we'll get there eventually.
This has got to be the longest introduction of a press conference I've ever seen in my. Like, how many people are going to be talking in this thing?
Well, there's going to be a bunch. There was a press guy or somebody with the FBI. They had copies of the indictment. They said they're going to start in a couple of minutes. So actually, if you want to take a break right now.
You think it's safe to take a break?
Yes.
God, this feels odd.
Hold it.
I'm recording this.
What do you think I should do?
By the way, can I just do a quick thing?
Live on air producing.
Can I do a quick thing here real quick? The audience on YouTube, rather large right now. First off, hello, welcome. We do the show every morning, 6 to 10 a.m. We love you all. If you get a chance, like the video, subscribe to the channel while you're there. You're already there.
Let's take a break right now. He said it's going to be a few minutes, and then they'll have everybody out.
Also, I love the Chargers minus 3.5 tonight.
But he said, so there was, if I got the gist of it, there's a picture of an illegal rigged poker game that Chauncey and Rozier were at that's part of it.
So Rozier is involved with the Chauncey thing.
I think they're connected in this, yeah.
Well, it was reported that he wasn't.
But I don't know. He said there's a picture, and it's in a Dropbox, and media can use it, and the indictments are unsealed, and there were copies. So as soon as the actual reporter people get their hands on this.
I hope we don't find out he was involved in some in-game gambling stuff. I really... That would just suck.
Yeah, that's...
all this already kind of sucks.
Well, either way, it's illegal poker is different than throwing games.
All right, well, I don't want to, but my producer is telling me the best move right now for our show is to take our break, and so we're breaking a little early. I apologize. Good morning. Thank you to everybody hopping on YouTube and streaming us live on the Odyssey app or listening on 105.1 The Fan or even 1080 AM. A little throwback for you. We will take a quick break. And then we come back. Hopefully, we got the press conference. So we'll get to that. Dirt and Sprague, hour number 2 rolls on 105.1 The Fan.
6:30 a.m.
All right, wild little Thursday for us. Good morning. On 105.1 The Fan, Chauncey Billups arrested by the FBI. I know a lot of you already know that, but for those just getting in the car, that's what's happened. Let's go live. The FBI press conference on Chauncey Billups' arrest.
Here today. In addition, we have with us today FBI Director Kash Patel, FBI Assistant Director in Charge Christopher Rea of the New York Field Office, Special Agent in Charge of the New York Field Office Leslie Bakshi's, New York Special Agent in Charge of Homeland Security Ricky Patel, Newark Special Agent in Charge of Homeland Security Michael McCarty, Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch, Chief of Detectives Joseph Kenny, and the Executive Director of the Waterfront Commission, Phoebe Sorrell. I'm now going to turn the podium over to FBI Director Kash Patel.
Good morning. Today we are here in New York to announce a historic arrest across a wide-sweeping criminal enterprise that envelops both the NBA and La Casa Nostra. The men and women up here standing with me represent a small portion of the leadership team that brought profound justice in an era that needed it more than any. I'll just highlight some of the details in the case and the FBI work, and then you'll hear from the others. But as you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today, former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchesi crime families. And you'll hear more about those details today. The charges and the arrests that were taken down across this country range from wire fraud, money laundering, extortion, robbery, illegal gambling. This FBI will leave no room for any perpetrator of crime across this country. You hear a lot about our work of defending the homeland and crushing violent crime. Well, this work is also representative of a colossal portion of the FBI's mandate to keep America safe and to keep our entertainment industry fair and secure. The men and women that are standing up here today worked tireless hours, days, months, and years. And the fraud is mind-boggling. It's not hundreds of dollars. It's not thousands of dollars. It's not tens of thousands of dollars. It's not even millions of dollars. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud and theft and robbery across a multi-year investigation. And we could not have done it without our interagency partners that are before us today. The NYPD, HSI, and teams of law enforcement officials from around the country made this day possible. It takes a team to bring this kind of justice, sweeping justice, into the halls of the United States courtrooms, where our brave United States attorney has led this prosecution. It takes courageous prosecutors to stand before you and say, we will not allow this kind of illicit activity to happen, not only at the national sporting level, but also where it hides in La Casa Nostra. And when these two collided together, they perpetrated a fraud that is historic in terms of not just money, but the scheme and the deceit that they utilize to steal and swindle people from money, to include crypto fraud. This is an operation that showcases to you that under President Trump's administration, there is no room for any type of criminal behavior, be it on the world's largest stage or in the back rooms of tiny parlors where card games are being played. We are proud to stand here today with the men and women of the FBI and this legal team. And to the United States Attorney, I just want to thank you personally for taking the time to display the work that the media is about to hear about today in detail. As I said, it does take courageous prosecutors, but it takes a courageous United States Attorney to bring this case, because we are going to take heat for it. But we don't shy away in this administration. We don't say no. What we do is we bring the results across the finish line. We bring them to the public. We bring you accountability. And yes, they will have their day in court, and you will hear the evidence through the court system exclusively. We will not deny anyone of due process. And that's the brilliance of this system. That's the brilliance of this administration. Everyone will be held to account. So with that, I turn it over to United States Attorney Nosell. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Patel. To be clear, we're announcing today indictments in two major cases, both involving fraud. One involves sports betting, and the other involves illegal gambling, very specifically rigged poker games. The first indictment involves 6 defendants who are alleged to have participated in one of the most brazen sports corruption schemes since online sports betting became widely legalized in the United States. This scheme is an insider sports betting conspiracy that exploited confidential information about National Basketball Association athletes and teams. The second indictment involves 31 defendants alleged to have participated in a nationwide scheme to rig illegal poker games. These defendants, which include former professional athletes, used high-tech cheating technology to steal millions of dollars from victims in underground poker games that were secretly fixed. The games in the New York area were backed by the Bonanno, Gambino, and Genovese crime families of La Cosa Nostra. While the cases are separate, there are 3 overlapping defendants charged in both cases: Damon Jones, Eric Ernest, and Shane Hennon. The indictments in these cases contain only allegations, and the defendants are presumed innocent until they are proven guilty in a court of law. But my message to the defendants who've been rounded up today is this: your winning streak has ended. Your luck has run out. Violating the law is a losing proposition, and you can bet on that. First, I would like to talk about United States versus Ernest, the NBA basketball gambling case. The defendants in this case are Eric Ernest, Marvez Farley, Shane Hennon, De Niro Laster, Damon Jones, a former NBA player and coach, and Terry Rozier, a current NBA player. Other co-conspirators were previously charged for their roles in the scheme, including former NBA player Jonte Porter. Between December 2022 and March 2024, these defendants perpetrated a scheme to defraud by betting on inside, non-public information about NBA athletes and teams. The non-public information included when specific players would be sitting out future games, or when they would pull themselves out early for purported injuries or illnesses. They relied on corrupt individuals, including Jones and Rozier. They also misused information obtained through long-standing friendships that they had with NBA players and coaches. And in at least one instance, they got their information by threatening a current player, Porter, because of his pre-existing gambling debts. Defendants used this non-public information to place hundreds of thousands of dollars in fraudulent bets, mostly in the form of prop bets on individual player performance. The bets were placed through online sports books and also in person at casinos. The defendants relied on a network of straw bettors to place the maximum amount of bets to increase their potential profits. Most of these bets succeeded, and the intended losses were in the millions of dollars. The defendants then laundered their illegal winnings in various ways: peer-to-peer platforms, bank wires, and simple cash exchanges. The indictment details specific examples where the defendants profited from illegal gambling and illegal betting on various NBA games about the performance of players on, among other things, the Charlotte Hornets, the Portland Trail Blazers, the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Toronto Rangers. Each defendant in the NBA basketball gambling case has been charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud and conspiracy to commit money laundering. Now, I would like to turn to the other case, United States versus Aiello, the rigged poker game case.
This is the FBI press conference
Beginning as
involving
early
Chauncey
as
Billups.
2019, the defendants in this case orchestrated a scheme to use wireless cheating technology to run rigged poker games across the United States, including in the Hamptons, Las Vegas, Miami, and Manhattan. The scheme targeted victims known as, quote, fish, who were often lured to participate in these rigged games by the chance to play alongside former professional athletes who were known as, quote, face cards. The so-called face cards included the defendant Chauncey Billups, who at the time of the scheme was a former NBA player and is currently the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, and also Damon Jones, a former NBA player and coach. What the victims, the fish, didn't know is that everybody else at the poker game, from the dealer to the players, including the face cards, were in on the scam. Once the game was underway, the defendants fleeced the victims out of tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars per game. The defendants used a variety of very sophisticated cheating technologies, some of which were provided by other defendants in exchange for a share of the profits from the scheme. For example, they used off-the-shelf shuffling machines that had been secretly altered in order to read the cards in the deck, predict which player at the table had the best poker hand, and relay that information to an off-site operator. The off-site operator sent the information via cell phone back to a co-conspirator at the table, and that person at the table was known as the quarterback. The quarterback then signaled secretly the information he had received from others to others at the table, and together they used that information in order to win their games. And
more boxes, more options. Grainger has
Well, that's a YouTube ad because we don't play for YouTube Premium.
Defendants used other cheating technologies such as poker chip tray analyzers, which is a poker chip tray that secretly reads cards using a hidden camera, special contact lenses or eyeglasses that could read pre-marked cards, and an X-ray table that could read cards face down on the table. What you see depicted on the screen right now is an example of the X-ray table that reveals the cards. Although they are face down on the table, they can be read because of the X-ray technology. The Mafia, specifically members and associates of the Bonanno, Gambino, and Genovese organized crime families, had pre-existing control over non-rigged, illegal poker games around New York City. As a result, they also became involved in the rigged poker games, helping to organize the games and taking a cut of the proceedings, and working to enforce the collection of debts. The defendants laundered their proceeds, including through cash exchanges, the use of multiple shell companies, and through cryptocurrency transfers. As part of the scheme, some of the defendants and their co-conspirators also committed acts of violence, including the gunpoint robbery of a person in order to obtain a rigged shuffling machine, and extortions that were perpetrated against victims in order to ensure that they repaid their gambling debts. Defendants who participated in the rigged poker scheme are charged with wire fraud conspiracy. Other defendants have been charged with crimes including illegal gambling, money laundering, Hobbs Act robbery, and extortions. This case demonstrates our office's unrelenting commitment to fighting the scourge of organized crime in whatever form it takes. I'd like to conclude my remarks by thanking the incredible hard work of our law enforcement partners, including the FBI, Homeland Security, the NYPD, and the Waterfront Commission. I also want to thank the dedicated prosecutors who built these two cases and who are standing to my right. Benjamin Weintraub, David Bourbon, Caitlin Farrell, Michael Gibaldi, Irisa Chen, and Sean Sherman.
All right, there we go. That's not the whole press conference, but that's the big chunk, at least that second part after Patel, that involves specifically Chauncey Billups. There's a lot to react to and talk about, and we'll get to the other side of this thing because it just coincidentally lined up. We're back with more conversation. Chauncey Billups arrested by the FBI early this morning, and as you heard there, the reason why. So we'll talk about that coming up next. Dirt and Sprague, 105.1, The Fan.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
Brought to you by Langdon Farms Golf Club. Good or bad weather, the golf course is always the driest around. Download the Langdon Farms app today. Get all the latest news and specials. First on The Fan, the breaking news you just heard, the FBI press conference related to a massive arrest in an illegal gambling inquiry that did involve Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups, arrested overnight in his alleged participation in an illegal rigged poker operation with ties to the mafia. He is scheduled to appear in court, federal court in Portland later today. Trailblazers opener looked good for 3.5 quarters. Blazers led by as many as 8, but then Anthony Edwards took over for the Timberwolves, led them on an 18-9 run to finish the game, handing Portland a 118-114 loss. Finished with 41. Jeremy Grant came off the bench to lead Portland with 29 points. They'll host Golden State on Friday. Thursday night football featuring a couple of teams navigating injuries. The Vikings visit the Chargers. Carson Wentz still the starting quarterback for Minnesota's J.J. McCarthy not yet back from an ankle injury. 5:15 kick on Prime Video. Chargers 3.5-point favorites. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Sports Saturday with
All right, good morning. Happy Thursday. A weird Dirt and Sprague here on 105.1 The Fan and the Fan Sports Network.
I love Sam's tweet. Just got in the truck. Had to check the station. First time I've ever heard an FBI press conference on sports radio. Good morning. It's the first time we've ever played one. I never thought that we would, but here we are.
Imagine getting in your car and you're like, I don't listen to political radio.
Wait,
What are we
they
doing?
just-
News radio. What are we doing?
They just moved to FM. Now they're gone. Now we're playing political radio. What the hell happened? It only lasted a couple of months.
No, that was
No,
us.
that's-
But
hey, we're here.
I just thought that was the best approach. We had to do that.
There were so many details we just didn't know. You just you read the headline, you see that he's arrested, and your head is spinning of what the hell is going on. We could have done without the first 7 minutes of that because that was all performative nonsense. And then the juicy nature of the details of why he was arrested and what was going on came out. And buddy,
Yeah, I mean, the beginning is going to be a
He gone.
backslap.
not gonna work here anymore.
Well, I mean, clearly an investigation that has been going on even before this administration.
For
I mean,
years,
this is something
they
that
said,
they've
yeah.
been building, right? So Swag's going to cut the audio. If you're just tuning in and you missed it, you basically got the gist of part of Chauncey. Now, there might be more information that continues to trickle out.
Yeah, they're not going to give you every detail right now at the opening press conference. They gave a lot, but they're not going to give every detail.
And the more we get, the more we will pass along to you. Let's all make sure we're reading verified news outlets or reporters and not getting butt cracked on this. But the gist of it, if you missed it, is that Chauncey was described as a face card because they had these poker games, these high-rigged poker games that involved all kinds of technology and stuff to find out when to make big bets and when to sucker people in. And
technology and stuff.
Chauncey Billups, who was arrested by the FBI, what was it, Swag? Was it conspiracy wire fraud? Was that what the official
Yes.
thing was? That's one of, if not the only thing he'll be charged with. But the real thing here is the takeaway. Chauncey, part of a group that used his name and his celebrity,
His connection to people with money,
to lure what they called fishes in and would bring them to these organized poker games, and everybody except the, quote, fishes would know that the whole thing is being a setup. It's a rig.
X-ray technology to read cards, understand what was going on.
And you get these people to bet tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then the money gets broken out at the end of the night, and guys like Chauncey were getting chipped off some of that money. So,
I mean, it legitimately sounds like an episode of The Sopranos.
It really
it's
does,
wild
yeah.
that it's now connected to the Portland Trail Blazers.
well, here's the other part. So they've been connected
Bonkers.
twice. The coach one's the bigger one and the more important one. The other is the Blazers were involved in a game against the Chicago Bulls, which I believe, I should have looked this up right before we came back. I believe Rozier was on the Bulls. I want to make
that
sure
sounds
I have
right.
that right.
That sounds right.
Because I think it was back in 2023.
Okay.
They had a little graphic as I was watching, and I think it was
Because I think he went
Blazers at
Boston,
Bulls.
Charlotte, Bulls, Heat,
Something like that. There was a list
He
of
was
4 or 5
in-
games.
or was it Porter that was a Bull?
Yeah, he did not play for Chicago.
So maybe it was Jonte
Maybe
Porter.
it was Porter. He was in Charlotte and then went to Miami. Boston,
Well,
Charlotte. He's only played for 3 teams in
Okay.
his career.
So either way, though, Portland, a game with Portland is involved. We don't believe that it was sports rigging involving Chauncey on this, but we also
We
don't
don't
know
know
that 100%. So I'm not going to say one way or the other.
Jonte also never played for Chicago.
Okay, there you go.
So,
So
neither of them played.
Maybe Damon Jones coach. I don't know what it was, but either
Yeah.
way, tons of people arrested, and Portland Trailblazer head coach Chauncey Billups arrested early this morning by the FBI.
Yeah, I mean, to answer some simple questions, too, that people are chiming in with of, like, firing with cause and getting out of Billups' contract. Like, yeah, they're not going to have to pay him anything for this. This will absolutely be fired for cause. I think you just go back, to like, the headquarters of the NBA. Last night was such a great – I know the night before, Tuesday night was opening night, but last night everybody essentially played and the rest of the league was in action. It was an incredible night for the league last night. Wemby had a game that we've rarely ever seen in the history of the league. Anthony Edwards was incredible in Portland. You had a rookie in Philly who I think set the record for most points ever in an NBA debut. Like, you had a banner night to kick off the start of everybody playing their season. And the only thing people are going to now talk about the day after that, and probably for weeks to come, is this. And so Adam Silver just has to be livid that all of this is going on the heels of the Clippers investigation that's been existing or around for a while. This is, when you hear the details of it, it's a whole different ball game. Like, when you see the report, you're like, all right, he's arrested by the FBI for, illegal poker games. Okay. your mind just simply goes to, is he just going to poker games that are hosted by the mafia? The mafia, somehow there was a snitch. They found out, discovered it, and that's how he's getting arrested. This is a whole different can of worms, man. Like, if you're truly involved in...
Talk about criminal.
If what they are alleging is true, and this is all having to be proven in a court of law, and they're innocent until proven guilty, but if what they are alleging is true, it's a whole different angle. That goes from just being stupid, like, how dumb could you be? You're worth a lot of money. Why would you get involved in that? To truly sinister behavior of luring people in to lose tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars through this scheme, just for a cut of it. That you're taking advantage of friends, you're taking advantage of coworkers, you're taking advantage of people that you've known, acquaintances,
or just nice people that
or
you
just
met
nice
through other
people.
people that have money.
Yes, you were luring them in to essentially steal their money, and it's just. That's a completely different ballgame than just, hey, I was putting up $250,000 of my own money to play on a mafia poker game once a month.
Yeah.
And that's just stupid. You're going to get fired. You're going to lose your job for it. That's not, to the point we're talking about. There's different levels of different crimes in the way that we react to it. This is... Yeah, this took a really sinister approach with that press conference and his alleged role in this entire scheme.
A tough thing here is just going to be gauge what time we get an email from the team. It's 7:41. This story has been out since 5:30 a.m. I just checked my email.
No one
haven't had anything from the team yet. And I understand there's a lot of legalities here. So
they're sitting on their hands for a while.
Look, dude, they're at One Center Court going through enough right now. I'm not going at them. So far at 7:41, we have not received an email from the team on anything.
No. How about those Toronto Rangers though? Dude, head on us.
I will say,
when the Toronto Rangers come in town, you better pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Get ready to take them on.
I will say, of all the things, this very well could be true, and we find out Billups was a face card who did horrific things to people and took advantage of people in using his name. He's very charismatic, that Chance. I've seen him at different things where he's walked in and, it's Chauncey freaking Billups, man. It's Mr. Big Shot.
Yeah, finals MVP.
And so if that ends up being true, then okay, and we'll move on and continue to talk about it. But, my God, you want to talk about building credibility? They're the Toronto Raptors. How did you not have that part right?
That was one of the highlights of the press conference.
Are the New York Rangers involved?
Toronto Rangers?
Also,
what?
I want to really share my ignorance here. I want to be in a trust tree today because there's a lot happening and we don't know everything, and we're trying to learn together in this community of radio program we're doing here. I, honest to God, thought the Costa Nostra. I said to Swag, soccer team? Didn't know that was a family.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I don't know all the family names, man.
Yeah, but there's a
I'm
lot.
Sorry.
There's a lot of them. A lot of family names underneath the Sicilian mafia umbrella. That's I can geek out on mafia stuff. Sometimes I've watched a lot of documentaries and read books about it. Yeah, I said European soccer team got tied into this too. Like, when I think a listener brings up a good point, like. The next question that I have, now that we have specific details of it and the reaction of like, oh, yeah, he ain't ever stepping foot on an NBA floor again the rest of his life. Likely.
Well, how do you come back from that,
It's just
man?
like the next question that I have is, how did this all begin? What led you to this? Were you in financial trouble? Were you like... there's just a million follow-ups that we have for Chauncey that we might not ever know, or maybe at some point we do, and he's got to go in front of a judge later this afternoon in Portland, I believe, and then he's going to Brooklyn after that.
Yeah, so he'll appear in federal court here in Portland,
and then
whatever
he'll go to Brooklyn
district
for the
this
indictment.
is, to whatever initial information to start the process. And then according to the press conference, he will have to go back to Manhattan or Brooklyn or wherever they do it, wherever that district is. And be formally arraigned.
Well, to your point earlier about the Golf Digest article that you were reading, like a lot of those guys get tied up into this because of their own losses and because of the own mistakes that they've made, and all of a sudden it's like, wait, I'm in a hole by how much to this casino?
Yeah, and to bring that back because it's ever changing here with our audience. That was an article I cited earlier in Golf Digest where a guy like Mr. Fix-It is what he calls himself.
He helps these guys dig out of gambling debt holes with casinos. Essentially,
but they're with casinos.
Yes.
They're legal
holes that they just don't have the money on hand to pay off the gambling debt, and so how do we get out of this problem? And he goes and helps them out. But I think that's my next follow-up for Chauncey Billups. Like, did you just truly do this because you're an absolute horrible person and you're fine financially and you just felt like scamming people and that's your grift? Or was there a Was there another domino that fell? Did you yourself get into gambling debt? Did you yourself get into some sort of problem with the mafia? And this was your way out of it, of like, all right, you want to get out of your gambling debt? How about you start bringing in some people to play in these rigged card games? Million follow-up questions for Chauncey Billups, but I think the firm conclusion that I've reached is we can even get to that at some point. Who's the next head coach of the Portland Trailblazers going to be?
Well, I think
we'll have an interim basis at first.
That's going to be a conversation that's not going to happen for months. This is going to be an interim thing, and I'd imagine unless Nate Bjorken is involved in this scheme, it's Nate Bjorken.
Yes, unless he is implicated in this, he will be.
And there's no indication he is. So I'd assume at this point it'd be Nate Bjorken. But that whole thing. This is where the turn for the organization, and we have. It's going to be a weird show. I just want to tell you now. Good morning.
Hey.
Josh Pate's on at 8 a.m.?
Yes.
I'm assuming Josh Pate doesn't live under a rock, and so he has also
seen the news.
I almost kind of want to text him and just see if he's available tomorrow, because this whole thing is bizarre, and I don't know how to do this, and you're going to turn on your radio at 8:05, and we'll talk college football, and you'll go, what?
Yeah.
But the organization side of this, right? Like, we've talked so much about Chauncey, and look, the character stuff that was brought up, that was poo-pooed at the beginning.
Thanks, Neil.
We're circling that back around now. Like, this is a terrible look for your franchise. Terrible look.
This is Neil O'Shea taking a dump in the top of the toilet, upper decker style, and then people not realizing it for a couple of years, and then realizing it all of a sudden of like, thank for one last gift from Neil O'Shea.
Well, so like now the organization side.
Yeah.
And there's still a lot of questions that remain on that, but like we can get to that part too. Now the organization, who has been awake for hours having to try to navigate this, where do they go from here? So we'll go with that on the other side of the break. Dirt and Sprague here, a busy Thursday with Chauncey Billups being arrested by the feds. At around 5:40 is when I saw the news, so our entire show has just been railroaded by the federal investigation that's involving the Blazers coach. So we're back more with that Chauncey Billups conversation on 105.1 The Fan.
It's time for Who's Stinking It Up?
Woo! Do not go in there.
A sports lowlight, ripped from the headlines.
We couldn't do diddly poo.
Brought to you by Three Mountains Home Services. Schedule your appointment online at threemountains.homeservices.com.
Shams Charania has reported that Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups has been arrested by the FBI for alleged illegal gambling, sources tell ESPN.
Yeah, there's Evan Cohen, ESPN Radio, announced this morning Billups arrested by the FBI for a illegal poker operation involving the mafia.
One of our listeners saying if anybody ever gives me crap about wearing my Blazer gear walking around, I'm going to De Niro him. You talking to me? You talking to me? You sure?
Who's stinking it up? Chauncey Billups. Brought to you by Three Mountains Home Services, offering their biggest sale of the year for a limited time. Buy and install a new air conditioner, and Three Mountains will give you a brand new furnace absolutely free. Great information, great deal by a local company at threemountainhomeservices.com. That's threemountainhomeservices.com.
The woman or the girl you knew the night before.
I love my job. I have a lot of fun doing this. It's a hard day at work today.
My favorite thought continues to be that Danny Morang is still asleep. He's got no idea,
Poor
dude.
guy's gonna wake up.
How many? We'll play the fun game. He's going to be on the air in 2
all
hours.
of his thoughts about sticking Jeremy Grant back in the starting lineup.
How many missed calls and text messages does he have on his phone right now?
He has, honest to God,
Probably 10 of them
Hold
from
on.
you because we're just trying to get a hold of him for
Count.
graphics and social media stuff.
I officially have called him 5. I thought it was
5.
7.
Okay.
I've called him 5 times. I'm assuming he's a sleep on airplane mode guy. Are you?
I would guess, but I am not. No, I
Me
never
either.
do that. I just in case something happens, if there's an emergency, I've had to rush to an emergency room in the middle of the night before. Like I don't mess with that stuff.
I've even heard a text at like 10:30 that's woken me up, and I just don't care. I don't do airplane
I
mode.
leave it
when
on
sleep.
vibrate, and so I don't hear it. But if it continues to ring, like eventually it will get through to you. I don't just turn my phone off.
I'm gonna get now. I'm gonna guess realistically.
It's got to be north of 20.
Gonna
missed
wake
calls.
up with 20 missed calls,
At least 20.
and I'm gonna guess realistically. He'll have 15 to 18 text messages. Because somebody that texts him isn't going to text him 1,000 things.
No, but just how many different people sent him a text about this?
That's my guess.
You're gonna go. I'll say at least 20 missed calls, and I'm gonna say 50 missed text messages.
50, huh?
I think this is a huge deal.
That was a
dude.
massive deal. Also, like most people, like Orem is clearly doing a journalism thing because I asked if he could hop on. He said, nope. And I responded, man, quite the morning wake-up call, right? Ha. No response.
Yeah, he's working right now.
He's working.
He's calling. He's calling sources. He's
He might
trying
be
to get
going down
into
to
the FBI.
the arraignment today.
Figuring out where the courthouse is, all that kind of stuff. He's working. He's doing some due diligence.
You don't think he knows where the courthouse is?
You got to figure out where the courthouse is. Where could it be? Is it
Near
a
that
secret
square?
courthouse? You got to go down to the square.
Well,
Yeah,
it's the federal courthouse, so it's not.
Yeah, where's that one at?
I don't know where that one is.
See, my point exactly.
Is it in the ice building?
Where's the federal courthouse? What if he got taken into the ice building?
That'd be weird. Whole thing is weird, dude.
Wait, are we deporting
I mean-
Chauncey Billups now? What happened?
No. Oh, God. What a weird day. I text Pate. I said, dude, we appreciate and value your time. I understand this is tough. Might have to call Omaha. And I feel bad because there's other listeners out there. Like, we've only done Billups stuff today. But
Yeah, I know.
It's also going to be bizarre for people just getting in their cars at 8.
Hey, what do you think South Carolina's chances are of upsetting Alabama this weekend, Josh?
And that LSU defense really hold the A&M offense this weekend for an upset?
You think Lane Kiffin's going to take the Florida job? What do you think, man?
What's the better gig, Wisconsin or Oregon State?
It's not every day that your head coach of your core 4 sport gets arrested by the FBI for gambling with the mafia. It's just not a normal day.
Buddy,
for us
I don't
around
think
here.
can we have another time a coach has been arrested for mafioso ties?
Not that I can think of.
In my lifetime, I can't think of
Not
one.
that I can think of.
Swag, you go back to 1888.
No mafia ties.
You were there when they started.
Well, he was there when they were still big over in Sicily before they even came over and set foot on American soil.
Tommy Two Shoes, he was starting it all.
I have an arrangement with him. We have an understanding.
What?
Is that what you do when you're laying the big wood over there? Are you win these games, Swag? What are you trying to tell us right now?
Big Wood's still in here.
Swag walking around looking for the big wood at a mafia casino.
All right, well, welcome into our Thursday show. It's great to have everybody here on 105.1 The Fan, the YouTube page,
The stream,
the
anywhere,
stream,
YouTube.
the A&M radio, the network, the Fan Sports Network.
The Fan Sports Network.
As I was told many a time by you, Jason
Yeah.
Swigard, the Fan Sports Network. It's busy. It's constantly evolving. Every play, we're getting information. And then right when you think we're going to clap hike, I step to the line. And you know what I mean? And now
we're in
Dirk's
I
going to
form.
step to the line.
Now we're in I formation. Now we got a fullback in the game.
Yeah, you don't know what we're going to do. We're going to try to get a guest. Problem
Maybe.
is,
Who? We'll see.
Because I don't know if they know.
I think a lot of them are in the same boat we are trying to figure stuff
How
out.
weird is it going to be in the Moda Center tomorrow night?
And interim coach Nate Bjorken.
How weird is that? Is Jody there? Is Joe there? Is Dundon still in town? Are they sitting courtside?
They still haven't sent an email, dude.
We got nothing.
I'm telling Mace.
Radio silence over there.
You do not announce the coach situation tonight.
Just don't even say anything
Sit
about the coach.
that one out.
We don't need to do
right?
that. Don't need to do that.
You can tell us where Shaden Sharp came from.
Does Damian Lillard get named interim head coach?
That'd actually be fun.
I would. Why not,
He's
dude?
not.
Why the hell not?
Who would you rather have, Nate Bjorken as interim the rest of the year or Damian Lillard?
Damian Lillard. Can we hire Brandon Roy? Is he still coaching? What the hell, dude? Bring him back into the fold.
Dame might get more respect from the officials if he needs a little help.
Dude, Dame getting tossed as an interim head coach
would be great.
Would be so
Him
great.
hollering, that wasn't a charge. Yelling on the sidelines.
I'll put that up as a poll question. Who would you rather have as the interim the rest of the year? Because clearly that's where that's going.
Yeah.
A lot to go with, a lot to get to, and I'll have to text Josh Pate back. But we are back with the third hour. Thank you for hanging with us and having fun with us and also wondering why this is all happening and when it happened and how and all that. We got the audio of the attorney explaining everything. Chauncey known as a face card. Face card Billups.
Face card Billups. Chauncey Face card Billups.
Mr. Face card Billups. Whew, rough day. Wild show. We roll on third hour. Dirt and Sprague, 105.1 The Fan and the Fan Sports Network.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on The Fan, the news broke at 5:40 this morning from Shams Charania and ABC News. The Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups was arrested overnight following their season-opening loss by the FBI, part of an illegal gambling inquiry The charges will become formal later this afternoon when Chauncey is expected to appear in federal court in Portland. It is related to an illegal poker operation that has ties to the mafia, where Chauncey was a, quote, face card to lure fish in for rigged poker games. Meanwhile, the Trailblazers lose opening night despite leading most of the second half over the Timberwolves. 118-114 the final. Anthony Edwards for the Timberwolves had 41. Jeremy Grant off the bench led Portland with 29. Questions now as to who will be the interim head coach when Golden State comes into town Friday night. Portland Timbers shook off their shaky regular season finish, giving Real Salt Lake no chance in the MLS Western Conference wild card game. They get a brace from Felipe Mora in a 3-1 victory. They now get top seed San Diego in a best-of-3 series beginning Sunday in Southern California. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of the Experience your hops differently with Hard Hops Blackberry Hops Infused Hard Seltzers.
Hey, happy hour number 3. Welcome back in, everybody. Dirt and Sprague here. Portland Sports Leader, 105.1 FM, The Fan, 1080 AM, the Odyssey app, live on YouTube. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call the Fan Sports Network. Good morning to everybody. This is one of the weirder shows that we are ever going to do. Not often do we do an entire show on one topic. We were supposed to talk to Josh Pate here for the Daily Ticker, which, as always, is brought to us by our wonderful friends at Pelican Brewing Company. Did you know they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, count them up, 5 coastal locations that you can go check out and stop by? Cannon Beach, Tillamook, Pacific City, Lincoln City, and Rockaway Beach. They are Pelican Brewing Company, born at the beach. We have called a hot route on Josh Pate. We thought that'd be too weird. Let's not do 15 minutes of football and pretend as if the head coach of the Blazers did not get arrested by the FBI this morning at 4 o'clock.
This is maybe the wildest thing to happen in our sports lives.
Yes. There's also a basketball angle to this that I'd love to talk about at some point.
We can get to that
we got 2 more hours to go.
know.
There's a lot of room to explore here. I'm going to kind of reset things, but I wanted to give you a quick update tomorrow, and thanks to your due diligence on this, Josh Pate will be on the show at 7 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah, very, very kind. I said,
Friday.
dude, we got a call in Omaha. And he goes, I saw the news, man. You let me know the time. And it'd be 7 a.m.
He was on ESPN this morning in the middle of the breaking news. He's well aware of what is going on. So Pate, kind enough to move his hit to tomorrow. Let's get a quick reset. Good morning, everybody. If you're a late riser, at least this is late in our world.
Right.
There's a bit of breaking news out there today. The head coach of the Portland Trailblazers, Chauncey Billups, was arrested by the FBI for participating in illegal poker games involving the mafia. For more details. Now, do we know this guy's name, the U.S. attorney? Do you guys remember his name?
I thought Patel was talking about Bondi here, but then he specified.
It is U.S. Attorney for Eastern District of New York, Joseph Nocella Jr.
Okay. Joseph Nocella Jr. Okay, before I get to that, I'm going to play that and kind of give you a quick fresher. 2 other notes that I'd like to point out. That is, this is always an evolving story. 1, shout out to the listener who sent us the Toronto Rangers logo and made that, because that's the funniest thing that's happened in quite some time.
Yeah.
There's also, and I saw this earlier, somebody tweeted to us, and I didn't click on it because I just thought it was a Reddit conversation of the news of today, and I'm like, I don't need Blazer fans on Reddit reacting to this. We're reacting to it live on the air.
Yep.
There was a story that came out 2 years ago.
Yeah, one of our listeners tagged us the screenshot of it.
2 years ago.
And I don't remember. I visit Reddit, not every day, but I like to visit and see what fans are talking about, if there's something I missed. And I missed this one. I just didn't recall seeing the story.
2 years ago, there was a note in a podcast that is, I believe, hosted by somebody by the name of Matthew Berkey.
Yep.
He is a well-known professional poker player for over 20 years, and he's lived in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Close friends, poker coaching company, all this different stuff. And 2 years ago in a podcast, he alleged that Chauncey Billups was scamming people out of thousands of dollars running rigged private poker games in L.A. and Las Vegas. 2 years ago.
Now, look, there's a lot here, right? And again, the legalities make this tough. I don't recall seeing that, but you have. I mean, it's just kind of natural to wonder a lot of stuff today. I really believe that, and it doesn't mean that your takes are. You don't need takes. Like, if this is kind of thrown out in a podcast, nobody throws that to the organization. The whole thing is.
And then he got
bizarre.
a contract extension last year after winning 36 games, but I digress. So that is a whole nother can of worms that we can get to at some point. But if you're just getting in your car, here is the U.S. Eastern District Attorney explaining what was going on and how Chauncey Billups is involved.
Now, I would like to turn to the other case, United States versus Aiello, the rigged poker game case. Beginning as early as 2019, the defendants in this case orchestrated a scheme to use wireless cheating technology to run rigged poker games across the United States, including in the Hamptons, Las Vegas, Miami, and Manhattan. The scheme targeted victims known as, quote, fish, who were often lured to participate in these rigged games by the chance to play alongside former professional athletes who were known as, quote, face cards. The so-called face cards included the defendant Chauncey Billups, who at the time of the scheme was a former NBA player and is currently the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers.
Woo, buddy. They go from there then to explaining how the game was set up and how it was operated to steal money from people.
What the victims, the fish, didn't know is that everybody else at the poker game, from the dealer to the players, including the face cards, were in on the scam. Once the game was underway, the defendants fleeced the victims out of tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars per game. The defendants used a variety of very sophisticated cheating technologies, some of which were provided by other defendants in exchange for a share of the profits from the scheme. For example, they used off-the-shelf shuffling machines that had been secretly altered in order to read the cards in the deck, predict which player at the table had the best poker hand, and relay that information to an off-site operator. The off-site operator sent the information via cell phone back to a co-conspirator at the table, and that person at the table was known as the quarterback.
So essentially, he helped lure people in, knowing that the games were rigged, and was in cahoots with the mafia. Multiple different mafia crime families were named in this. If you want to go back and listen to the entire press conference, you can scroll back on the podcast of our show to about 7 a.m. Or if you're watching on YouTube, you can go back and do that as well. We played the entire thing. It started with Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, and then went to that gentleman. And so that's kind of a summation of why he was arrested and the charges that he has been accused of today.
Joe Freeman tweeted about 20 minutes. Official charges, laundering conspiracy, wire fraud conspiracy. Going to appear in court later this afternoon and then be arraigned on his indictment in Brooklyn in a future date.
Yep. And
but you know what's crazy? Oh, I mean, you know what's crazy.
All of it's crazy, yeah.
All of it is.
Yeah, pretty crazy day.
Like, you just take away from this part of it, he used his celebrity and his name, and he duped people, and reportedly, allegedly,
yeah,
to get money. Like, there's an audio clip of Ann Edwards shirtless last night saying, "We don't get any days off in Portland anymore. This team's good."
Yeah.
But
on the heels of a encouraging and exciting opening night, where yes, it ended up in a loss. But your team played hard. You got great games from a handful of guys.
Dude, if this was college football, we would be saying, what a great loss.
Yes, that's a quality loss. It's not going to hurt your strength of record,
No,
your strength
it
of
won't.
schedule. That's going to be looked upon fondly, Notre Dame, at the end of the year. And instead, today, we're talking about how the coach is on the way out, and you're going to find a new one.
New York Police Commissioner, I guess, on Terry Rozier specifically, said the quote, "As the NBA season tips off, his career is already benched. not for injury, but for integrity. He's writing like one-liners in these things.
Yeah, I think that's what we're doing now at this point. They had the line in this one earlier where, basically they tried to say you're innocent until proven guilty and everybody deserves a right in a court of law, blah, blah, blah. And then said, but your days of scamming people are over. You can bet on that.
If Neil O'Shea is holding a water bottle this morning, that is comedic timing.
Yeah, thanks for one last kick in the nuts, Neil O'Shea. And I think the follow-up
we
to
also
this,
extended him once Neil was
well, and
gone.
I think that's what I want to get to next. So as we're trying to, everybody's wrapping their heads around this. That was
crazy.
The press conference from earlier. Again, you can go find that on the podcast. We played it about 7:10-ish, 7:15-ish is when it started, somewhere in that range. And we carried it live and got all the details. There's a lot in there that you can kind of unpack. And so it's on YouTube or go back on the Odyssey app and you can find it.
Yep.
Just about an hour ago is when that press conference started. I wanted to start diving into a little bit of the other side of what somebody texted this in. What do you think the player group chat's like right now?
Dude.
Because they have one.
It's got to be nuts.
There's been a story recently about the Laker group chat when Anthony Davis realized that he was traded and what he said to the group chat.
It was Bronny that
Bronny
told
was
him.
like, hey, Anthony Davis, I think he got traded. And that back and forth. What do you think Blazer players are texting each other right now?
I think the first one has to be send link to story.
Yes.
Dog. What?
And then everybody else responding, huh?
Exclamation point emojis.
No way. No. And just what it means for that, what it means for the team, where they go from here. There's a lot of follow-up questions just from the Chauncey Billups stuff. Whatever.
It's going to sort itself out.
I'm not crying over any of that. I don't even know if he was a good head coach. He got extended for winning 36 games. He has one of the worst winning percentages for a head coach in the history of the league, and it was never fair to totally pin that on him because the roster was built to tank for a couple of seasons. But this idea, we're not losing Greg.
That's...
I know. We're not losing, Greg Popovich here, okay? We don't even know if Chauncey Billups is a good head coach. Portland will be fine. But where do they go from here and who else is implicated in it? I want to start diving into the basketball. Also, a little bit of what we saw last night. And will that be the team that we see all year? Will that be the level of performance? Will that change with this news?
What happens now?
And an interim head coach. A lot of follow-up questions from a basketball side of it. We'll start diving into that next. 105.1 FM, The Fan.
Oh, Dirt
105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
Somebody making a joke at the fan text line. What if the group chat isn't surprised at all? Like, I'm sure he was gambling. We're on the team playing gambling all the time. I'm not surprised at all he's tied up in illegal poker games. Chance. Oh, yeah, I saw that coming. Yeah, nobody's surprised by that.
I played him. I beat him. I didn't know how he kept winning money from people.
Kept winning money over and over.
Sense.
Had pocket aces every hand, man. It didn't quite make sense. Now I all get it. Chauncey Billups arrested this morning by the FBI for being in cahoots with the mafia and illegal gambling, illegal poker games, luring people in, stealing their money, essentially.
By the way, a poll question going up, who would you rather have as the interim coach, Nate Bjorken or Damian Lillard?
I mean, that's the whole other angle to this that I'd like to start talking about a little bit, because, like, as of now,
we know who it's going to be. I mean, realistically.
Well, we do know. I know. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying as of now, in terms of the breaking news on Chauncey Billups, it's kind of like this is it. He's been arrested. He'll appear in court later today.
Yep.
The details are out there. We know the details. There's no point in continuing to go over them over and over and over again. We'll do a reset a little bit later on here this morning in the show. If ever anybody's new listening and you're up at 9 a.m., we'll tell you what's happened and play some audio for you. But the other side of this is the basketball side of it, which is far more important to me. I don't care about Chauncey Billups getting arrested that much. He sounds like a scumbag. Time will tell on that. But what he's alleged, he is a horrible person if what he was doing ends up being proven true. Not to mention the allegations that already existed in his past when Neil O'Shea was sipping a water bottle saying, let's shut down these questions and not answer them anymore. There was a clip. We were all geared up to talk about the Blazers opening game today. Anthony Edwards, after the game in Minnesota, for Minnesota last night, he was unbelievable, and he had a quote basically saying, the days of coming to Portland and getting an easy win are over. This is not an easy team to beat. They're physical. They're big. They're going to guard you 94 feet away from the hoop. Chauncey has his guys playing hard. They're coming at you in waves. And it was funny because that was kind of the takeaway that I think a lot of people were going to have of, like, not that quality losses or moral victories should be a thing in professional sports, but in a year where you're trying to show that you can hang with better teams and that you've taken a step, it was a really encouraging sign last night to see some of the things that we saw. And now the million-dollar question is, what does this do to your season? These are uncharted waters for everybody involved, not to mention just coaches leaving or getting fired. You just had your head coach get arrested by the FBI after the opening game of the season. We're not 20 games into this thing. They just started last night. You got another game tomorrow against the Golden State. Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler are coming to town tomorrow night
after
to play
a nice opening win for them.
After a nice opening win for them, looking very
who else
good.
Is coming back? Terry Stotts.
Terry Stotts.
Boy, he going to walk in that room feeling a little different.
Can we bring Terry back? Is that possible? Get him on the phone. I just, before I get to the front office and how this plays out for Joe Cronin, who I think his whole future and everything within the organization is now in question, I would imagine, with this big of a news.
There has to be a lot up in the air right now.
This is an impossible question to answer, but I'm going to ask it anyways. Yeah. How the hell does the team respond to this? What does this do to your season? Do you get a come together factor that you start playing harder? Do you? I don't know even how to begin to make sense of what this means on the basketball court, which is far more important, I think, to the vast majority of fans than whatever happens to Chauncey Billups in his future.
I honestly, look, none of us know.
No.
This is a mere guess, right? Like, everybody's going to tell you that what they say is accurate here. The only way we're going to know is by seeing it. You just hope, I think, internally, that the leaders of that team, the real veteran guys who have seen some S in their time in the league, right?
Thankful to have Dame and Drew around right now because
How
they've been
about
around
Jeremy,
a long time.
Dame, Drew, Tease has been in the league for a hot minute, right? Like, these guys have seen some stuff. Now, I know this is different. This is a one-off in maybe NBA history with how you lost a coach. You just hope that they get together today. They internally say, Nate, you're the guy. We got to deal with this legality stuff. You bring the team in, and they have honest conversations, and this is a rally cry. Not for Chauncey, more just like for them. Because now it has to be about for them. And Chauncey, very well respected within that organization as the coach of the team. But that's done, dude. Like, I have a hard time after hearing what that attorney said, even if you are able to kind of skate on a punishment of some sort, how are you getting out of that? And then how are you going to be the coach still?
Right.
All of it's a bad look. You just have to hope that they go in, and I don't even know if they have the talent necessary to beat Golden State, who might be a step better with Jimmy all year.
Yeah, Kuminga looked great in opening night for them, too.
But I thought you brought up a good point. And Edwards was in the locker room last night, and he lost to them here last year, but he said they're different. They're different. And that was a great loss, if there ever was one in the NBA.
The reason you lost the game is because they have an Anthony Edwards and you don't have an Anthony Edwards. It's as simple as that. Like,
you also lost because Shaden, Drew, and Denny collectively made
they didn't do great
4 threes or 3 threes total. Like, they weren't good from behind the arc, and that's going to happen. But
their offense petered a little bit at the end of the game.
I hope it's something that it brings them together with the young guys just not really caring about anything outside of their TikTok world and the veterans going, we're here, we're playing for one another.
Yeah.
You bring the same effort you brought against Minnesota, you absolutely could beat Golden State. So we're going to have to wait and see on it. But that's all you can hope for, is that collectively they rally as a group for themselves and just try to move on. They cannot control what just happened, right? They're going to be asked about it, obviously. And I don't even know what they're going to say other than maybe no comment. But
sure,
there's
what
nothing they can
right
do
now,
about it. There's nothing you can do about it as a player.
I think that the interesting part is just the distraction that it causes, and does that impact your season? Because I'm with you. You would hope there would be a kumbaya effect where guys are coming together. It's great to have leadership in the locker room to try and stitch everything and weave everything back into the fold. But like, this is going to be something they're going to, like, imagine their press availability before the game on Friday at shoot-around. How many, I mean, they're going to get bombarded with questions about this for weeks on end. When they go on the road for the first time and you're dealing with road media and you got to talk after the game, like, it's just going to be something that they're going to have to deal with. And so it will challenge just their focus and their attention to detail and all the other things, because it's very easy to allow something like this to kind of snowball and derail your season. And I'm with you. I hope that doesn't happen, because it's funny. I saw a tweet from Joe Simons, who does the postgame show with Danny, and he had a point that I actually, if I would have read it last night, I would have been like, yeah, man, because I've been somebody that's been on the other side of the fence. Essentially, like, even the most pessimistic Blazer fan out there has to have a semi-positive takeaway from this. This is a team that plays hard. They're built in the identity that they've been trying to build. That's getting lengthy guys that play defense, and they're going to play with effort and intensity, and like, that's going to be good for a certain amount of wins. And you get these little, all your young guys locked up under contract that you care about. Shaden just got the deal done. Kamara's got the deal done. Denny's got a great contract. Like, even the most pessimistic Blazer fan has to come away from that game saying, you know what, that was kind of fun. I'm relatively encouraged. And then the next morning, this bombshell drops. Like, on the very next day, after I was ready to come in and be like, you know what, this is kind of fun again. I'm looking forward to watching games. We got new ownership. It's a fresh start. Like, I've been reinvigorated as a fan for the first time, what feels like in a while. I gave the thought yesterday, this is the most excited I've been for a Blazer season since the year after they went to the conference finals. That's genuinely how I felt, because it just felt like you were blowing like a fart in the wind for a couple of years there with no direction, no purpose. Your owner didn't care. She's checked out. And now finally it's like, man, things are kind of going in the right direction. And the second I feel that way,
I mean, I also think, totally fair. I think a lot of people were like that, right? Like, even if people were like, these guys are kind of hyping up a team that's not that good. I mean, it wasn't we were claiming they were going to be a title contender. It was more just, can they take that real step? And the real step to me is play-in. I will just disagree with the idea that the play-in didn't matter. The play-in matters. It's a step in the right direction. You haven't been a playoff team in 4 seasons. You are on the verge of having one of the longest droughts in your franchise's history of having no playoffs, let alone play-in. And so I just wanted to see it. And whether you were positive, somewhere in the middle, or even a little negative about it, how if you watch that game last night, you don't conclude they weren't even that impressive from offense. They scored 114 points.
No.
I mean, imagine a game where
Denny did make a 3. Did he end up making one? I think he was Did he make one?
I think
if he made it, he made it early.
He was 0 for 6
in the fourth
0
quarter.
for 6 and 3. Drew was 1 of 7. Shaden was 3 of 9 from 3.
Klingon was their best 3-point shooter.
Yeah, he was 50% from the field. And so, like, even with a night where you didn't even play that good a basketball, your defense continued to keep you in it. And your offense on a bad night scored 114 points. Now, that's not going to be every night in the league. We know that. But
no,
you were so right in the difference in that game was the end of the day, basketball always be great offense will beat great defense. Ann Edwards was guarded by who? Tamani Kamara.
Elite defender.
And I'm not even faulting Tamani.
It was
That's an
great
amazing
defense.
Step back.
Yes.
And he hit the shot. Like, that ultimately is where it shakes out. What team has been in the back-to-back conference finals in the West?
Yeah, the Minnesota Timberwolves.
So, like,
they have an Ant Edwards.
You went toe-to-toe with them in a season where people were excited, hyped. You gave them a show, and you played a team really tough that has a lot of respect in your conference. It's a great start. This just sucks. I mean, there's no other way around it, and I really hope the players can – I don't even know, man. This could just as well derail their thought process for at least the next game, but you hope that they're able to kind of move on.
And then they got a mini road trip and then an East Coast road trip coming up soon.
They play the Lakers twice in their first 7 games.
Yeah, we know there's one game, and they may not even be favored in it now after what the Jazz did last night. So,
yeah, the Clippers. I think it's on Sunday, right? They play the Clippers on Sunday.
They play Clippers, but they play the Jazz.
Oh, wow.
I think it was at the Jazz or something like that.
Home
I don't
opener
know.
for the Jazz, whatever. Somebody tagged us. I guess last night in his press conference, he used the term "let the chips fall."
Yeah, he did.
Not that that's not a common expression, but
Common expression.
So how do you want to do this? Do you want to roll on with more like, how are they going to react? Or do you actually want to talk about the play?
Yeah, let's get to the game a little bit. I don't care, dude. Like I mean, I should say I don't care. I think I will move on, and I would imagine most Blazer fans. Is there an emotional connection at all in the city to Chauncey Billups?
I would probably beg that's the opposite.
Right? Like just, he got extended? Okay.
Some last year, I think, turned
We
maybe
had
the
that with
opinion.
Terry Stotts because he was here for so long, and you had the conference finals run, and he had the great relationship with Dame. Like, when he got fired, that almost felt like a more emotional story. This is just kind of like, wait, what? Like, there's a shock to it.
Yeah, you would run into Terry Stotts out and about. Like, he would go do things with his wife and in the city.
He wouldn't fish you into illegal poker games.
No, he'd randomly be at a Winterhawks game.
Allegedly.
Like, just hanging out.
Can we be honest about something?
Sure.
If Chauncey invited you to a poker game,
Dude, he would have fished the hell out of me if he was like, "Hey, Dirt, you want to come to sends me a random DM. What's up, Chauncey?
$200 buy-in, Sprague. You in? Yeah,
Well,
dude.
Playing poker with Chauncey Billups? Yeah, man, I'll come play poker with you.
I'm going to guess the buy-in was a little higher when you asked
Yeah.
what the buy-in
I think
was.
the buy-in
You're
would have
like,
been a little bit
Don't
above
bring
my
up
pay
facts
grade.
here. All right, let me live in a world where $200 buy-in is good.
I just couldn't catch any cards tonight, man. It was the weirdest thing.
You know, they kept
Weirdest
knowing
thing.
when I had aces.
Yes, every time I had ace king, somebody
How
would
did
have.
you keep hitting full
I
houses?
just, it's wild, man. The luck that Chance had that night that I
thought I
played
was good at
poker with
bluffing.
him. Banana stuff. So I think to that point, the basketball to me is almost a bigger story in just terms of what it means for the rest of the season. Some people say not a concern. I just wanted to bring it up. You're probably right. These are professional
so.
athletes. Like, show up on Friday, keep going. Like, the identity is there. The teamwork is there. Like, I don't see this group crumbling. I just wanted to ask a question.
Becomes what they have to figure out, what Joe Cronin has to figure out is who's going to step in. He's got to do a press conference at some point.
The Blazers still have not said a peep.
No emails yet.
Well, I'm sure they're
probably legally
consulting with
trying
lawyers
to,
to make sure they don't
ChatGPT
cause
lawyer
more
edition's writing
problems.
this one.
How do we get out of this contract for cause and not have to pay him a dime? How about you get arrested by the FBI and that's how you get out of the contract without having to pay him
Look,
a dime?
that person, I'm going to lean on that person, the same opinion. I think this team just genuinely loves to play basketball, and I think they all have like a toughness about them, but I'll counter and say this. You've never seen this in the history of the league. A coach arrested by the FBI. It's truly one of one.
It's truly one of one. Now, the likely replacement, Nate, is it Bjorkgren?
It's Bjorken.
Or is it Gren at the end? Are we sure?
Bjorken.
Because listeners are saying we're saying it wrong. So I'm just trying to. This is probably going to be a name that we're going to need to know. And I just wanted
Doesn't
to.
matter.
Okay.
Nate.
I think it's Bjorkgren is how you say his
Nate
last
B,
name.
man.
Let's
go Nate B.
He's likely going to be the interim coach at
Caring
some
too much
point.
about text police right now. Is he, or is it going to be Dame? Some are asking poll questions.
God, Dame being a player coach, first one since Bill Russell would be phenomenal.
I mean,
maybe there was one after that.
He already owns a car dealership. What do all coaches end up doing? They end up getting car dealerships.
Sitting over there cheering anyways. Let him drop some plays. What's the worst that could happen? Let's get to the basketball side of this a little bit.
Play harder. Okay, thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks, Coach. Thanks, Dame. I appreciate it, man. Let's get to the basketball side of it and what we saw last night. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Our heads are spinning just like yours are. If we get any more breaking news, we will pass it along to you. Any more details that come out, we will pass it along to you. We'll reset for the new audience. If you're just getting in your car, Chauncey Billups was arrested by the FBI this morning, so we had a 4-hour show planned, and all of that plan went directly out the window. But what did we see on the floor last night that we liked? Let's dive into that a little bit next, but first, here's Swag with Sports Center.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, the news broke roughly 3 hours ago from Shams Charania, ESPN and ABC News that Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups was arrested following their season opening loss. The FBI, in part of an illegal gambling inquiry, arrested Billups related to an illegal poker operation with ties to the mafia. He was a knowing participant in rigged poker games, according to the indictment. He's expected to appear in court later today in Portland. He will later then go to Brooklyn to be formally arraigned. The Trailblazers on the court on opening night looked good until the very end when Anthony Edwards led his Timberwolves on an 18-9 closing run to take it 118-114. Ant finished with 41. Jeremy Grant coming off the bench led Portland with 29 points. No word yet from the team who will be the acting head coach on Friday night when Golden State comes to the Moda Center. Thursday night football featuring a couple of teams still dealing with several injuries. The Vikings are at the Chargers. Carson Wentz remains the starting QB from Minnesota. J.J. McCarthy not quite yet ready to come back from ankle injury. 5:15 kick on Prime Video. Chargers 3.5-point favorites. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The Fan is live on AM.
I love taking a look at the fan text line during a commercial break. Somebody just texting in, "Oh my God, Billups!"
And I just responded, "What happened?"
Good morning. Hi.
Nate Bjorkgren.
You know, a lot of people said the Jailblazer era was more entertaining anyways, as the last time we were nationally relevant and had a chance to win was when we were the Jailblazers. And so...
I hate to be mean, too, but
maybe we got that.
A little bit of this on the name correction stuff.
No one cares!
Well, if he ends up becoming the full-time permanent head coach after the year, then I think it would matter. He's going to be the interim head coach. That will come out at
That's going to
some
be
point.
their choice as the
Who
interim
else are you going to
guy?
go with?
No. You said permanent guy at the end of the
Oh,
year.
I don't know. I guess touche. I don't think Dundon would do that, but I also don't like if you hire the interim guy and he ends up winning. What if you make the playoffs this year? You keep again. That's cart in front of the horse situation. I don't have that big of a fear. If Jody was still the owner, he would 100% become the full-time head coach. Whether he won 12 games the rest of the year or 47, they would just give him the job because that's what we do to people in Portland under Jody Allen.
Now, what sport? It has to be football, right? Where if your coach is arrested by the FBI, it has the biggest impact? Has to be football.
Easily football. Not even close. The manager of a baseball team could sit in the clubhouse for 4 innings, and I don't think you would actually notice. If the starting pitcher's cruising, basketball's the same way. So I don't get Chauncey standing up, yell like who was the former head coach that we had on staff last handful of years from OKC? The old OKC coach. What was his name? He's not on the staff anymore.
Oh, Scotty Brooks.
Scotty Brooks, thank
Scotty
you.
Brooks.
He would always walk up, I feel like, and tell Chauncey something, and then Chauncey would say it anyway.
Yeah, I kind of felt that way. I think it's Bjork.
He was like the coach behind him, like, Chauncey, tell him to play a zone right now. And then Chauncey would yell out,
Chauncey, call timeout.
set a screen. Like, it felt like that's how coaching went the last 2.5 years here. So maybe we should have held on to that guy. He at least had head coaching experience. He's got to be kicking himself right now. Like, dude, I could have been the interim head coach of the Blazers.
Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't know.
And we got rid of him, and now we got to hire a guy who's never been a head coach before. Let's get to a little bit of the on-the-court stuff last night. So,
P1 Lawrence, do we have the most street cred in the NBA now?
We absolutely, we're back, baby. I feel like we got our swagger back today. Is this going to be the best thing that's ever happened to the Blazers? Because it might be. The combination of Jody Allen selling and then getting our street cred back. Now we're the Jailblazers again, and having the chance to kind of clean house and go get a new I'm very I think from a basketball angle, there's some very exciting outcomes that could play out here. Last night the game starts. Portland just red hot from the get-go. 35 points in the opening quarter, lighting it up. You had Jeremy Grant come off the bench, which. This was the big frustration for me last year at times when old face card Billups would say, we got to bench Shaedon Sharpe in order to incentivize him to play harder because we don't just hand things out. We don't just give away playing time while simultaneously looking you straight in the eye and telling you that didn't belong to – that same label didn't belong on Anthony Simons or Jeremy Grant, who were doing nothing and not playing hard night in and night out. I had a really hard time with that as a fan. And here you get Jeremy Grant off the bench, and it's like, hey, look at that. You lit a fire under his ass. He was incredible. Now he just had a hot night shooting, but he was impactful in other ways. I thought a lot of the intangibles of what Joe Cronin has tried to build from a team showed up last night, and then you just ended up having a really rough offensive fourth quarter. And so it felt like for me, and I don't know how you felt, but it felt like a perfect encapsulation of how we view this team this year. Of defensively, they're going to be a problem. They're going to play hard more often than not. All of a sudden, this is now in question, but maybe not. And then when you need to, and you're in a late game situation and things bog down and teams tighten up defensively, where are you going to go for offense? And in the fourth quarter, they had 19 points, and that was one of the bigger concerns everybody universally had about this team. Drew Holiday was great last night defensively, didn't have a great night shooting the ball, did have an early 3 late in that game with 2 minutes to go, and you're like, man, Drew, you're 1 of 6. Come on, let's look for a better shot than that. They're going to need to find ways to be more creative offensively late in the game, but what were the big takeaways on the floor last night as Portland fell 118-114 in the road?
Hard to add much to that entire explanation of the game that you just said, other than, yeah, man, the internet can react how the internet wants to, and it's always emotional, and we live minute to minute, sometimes game to game, and we don't really give context fully all the time when we react to it, but it ultimately breaks down if they had Anthony Edwards and you don't. So are you going to have a game where Drew's on fire and maybe his 30-point performance wins it for you? Yeah. Denny? Yeah. Shaedon? Probably. Jeremy had it last night. They just didn't capitalize. They were up 7 going into the fourth quarter. For me, I kind of more look at not so much the how. We know how it didn't work for them. They have Anthony Edwards. I more look at the other stuff that did work, and then on the nights they don't shoot collectively like 4 for whatever from 3 with the three guys of Denny, Drew, and Shea.
I mean, even as a team, they were only 31%
They weren't
from 3
great.
last night. It was bad.
They're going to have to play small. Is that not the takeaway from everybody else? Because, like, I like Young. It's a fun thing. He is not ready. And I think we saw a guy not ready. We saw a league.
And it's also one game, but yes, I agree with the takeaway.
Yeah, I know. But, like, teams are gearing up for this dude. He's not going to fly under a radar. He's the biggest Chinese star in the world right now. He got all the attention at Summer League. Like, he's not going to come in some nameless, faceless rookie. He's going to come in with some people knowing or hearing of him. And so I'm not saying that they're going to go take him out. It's just like I don't know how really ready he is because last night he didn't look ready. And so if he's your backup big, as long as Rob Will is out, you're going to have to run small.
That killed him at times late in the game.
Well, it kills him when you're rebounding, right? Like, again, Chauncey, before he was arrested, he talked about this year attacking the glass. And Minnesota had more offensive rebounds. So it's another example of you're not doing quite what you need to do, but you're going to have to trade some of that because you got to play small. Because Young is just going to have to develop, and you're going to have to wait to see it, I think, in a far more consistent manner. And so you're going to have more of those nights from him than I think you are the pie-in-the-sky Chinese Jokic stuff, certainly. So you're going to have to run small, which can work to your benefit and ultimately would have if 3 guys don't shoot as poorly from behind the arc as they did. And I don't bank on that to regularly be happening. But
and you're not going to play Anthony Edwards every night.
No, but your shooting woes and your offensive big moments, we need a bucket, those are 2 things we all talked about, and they kind of showed themselves last night.
Yeah, some of the concerns did rear their ugly head. I will say this, too. It also kind of highlights the interesting situation they're in, and this was before any of the big breaking news this morning, and that was just that they're building – this is kind of a continuation of we're pushing, this is win now time, but we also have guys who are developmental pieces that don't necessarily help us win now. And it again gets back to the original question that we've been asking for the last couple of years is what is more important, winning games or developing players? Like, I'm with you in completely about Young Hansen. He had a 5-minute stretch in the first half. They brought him in. Was that early second quarter they brought him in? I can't remember now.
No, Young's first start when he first came in was 7 minutes in the first.
Okay, so first quarter. He played a total of 5 minutes last night. And to my knowledge...
Because it was pretty clear right away.
Yes. To my knowledge, he did not play a second in the second half.
Ooh, I'll go look at the substitutions, but you might be right on that.
I felt like it was kind of in and out, putting the kid down, and then finally getting in, kind of late third quarter is when I go back in. They had to go small. And so, but again, it highlights to me, like, I'm not disagreeing with the point that he looked overwhelmed. It's his first game in the NBA. But you gotta be in a position where you get him on the floor and get him some minutes and let him develop and all that kind of stuff. And so let's take a quick break. Take a quick pause.
Not even talking.
Swag's yelling at me to go. We got to go. We're going to take a quick break, okay? Quick breather.
I think the brand man wants to host a show now.
The brand man wants to break in here. You want to get on some of this FBI action? Was Dusty in? Is he a face card? Is he a fish? Was Dusty a fish?
Did he snitch?
Are we going to find this out?
Maybe he was the informant.
Was he the informant? I mean, we all know about his past drug use.
Chauncey
Maybe that's how he got in cahoots with the FBI. And now
you're just gonna get fired.
What is happening right now? Let's get to the other tentacles of this story. We'll reset it coming up top of the hour. Back after this 105.1 FM The Fan. All right, welcome back in. 8:50 on your Thursday morning. Hey, good morning, everybody. Lots to get to in the final hour. Everybody's feeling cheery today.
Are we doing our big
I
picks?
think we're going to move on from our big pack picks today.
You don't want to do is Oregon State. Oh, actually, they're on a bye. Is Oregon cover the number?
34.5, 35.5.
Grateful Dead.
Big lad. No, we will. Tomorrow's going to be a jam-packed football show. You know, I'm sure there'll be some leftovers from this or things that come out later in the afternoon.
Well, the Blazers play tomorrow, too.
And the Blazers play tomorrow, too.
But it is a football Friday.
I'll reset things for anybody getting in your car and you're just waking up. Good morning. It's been a whirlwind of a day. Not very often do we do an entire show on one topic. You know, those times are very few and far between. Today,
we don't like to do it. I mean,
no, today's just one of those shows, man. Chauncey Billups got arrested by the FBI this morning because he was illegally gambling with the mafia.
Well,
We think.
Allegedly.
Here's the situation.
He'll be in a federal courthouse this afternoon in Portland, the day after their opening night game, in which everybody was feeling pretty optimistic and positive. The next follow-up that I have, as we kind of discuss the on-the-court stuff.
His coaching future?
It's over!
Yeah, I mean, he's done. He's not going to coach in the NBA again. There's no chance that happens. And it did feel like a perfect time for the only Chauncey drop that we have to be.
You're a loser.
Thank you. This is the next follow-up that I have on all of this and how it's going to play out is the idea that Tom Dundon's going to own the team in, T-minus 4 months, 3 months, 5 months, whenever that's going to happen. Like, we don't know exactly when it will be approved, but
if you're reading body language, I would assume most people would just answer he is.
He's the owner now.
And they're just waiting for their Board of Governors thing to do the approval. But yeah,
the lawsuit has been dropped. The money is all there. Yeah. The owners will approve it. He will own the team officially in a matter of however many months. And the speculation was maybe it'd be around the trade deadline. Of just what this means for everybody else involved in the organization and anybody associated with Chauncey Billups. Now, none of them, I should again reiterate, none of them are implicated in any of this. Chauncey Billups is the only one that has been arrested today. This is not a widespread sting operation against the entire Portland Trailblazer organization. But
I think it blindsided everybody in the organization.
Because they haven't responded to it yet. They had no clue that this was coming. Of just what it means for everybody else. Dundon, we already knew, was the kind of guy who liked to take over and put his stamp on things. Mm-hmm. He famously or infamously, depending on how you feel about it, came in and fired a bunch of people for the Carolina Hurricanes. Now they've won, and so everybody at first was like, man, you're firing these people. What? And now all of a sudden they've gone to the playoffs however many years in a row, and we're in the conference finals, and so people feel great about it. But he's been known as a guy that will put his own stamp on it, and that's a big question looming in my head of what does this mean for Joe Cronin? What does this mean for the rest of the coaching staff? Is this the perfect opportunity for Dundon to come in and say, you know what? Everybody that was associated with that, whether it's fair or not, you got some stank on your name, and we're cleaning house.
So I think there's a couple things there. The first I'd say, because I think Cronin, I think a lot of people have come to really like the moves he's made, and I think there's also a fair balance of questioning some of the other ones, right? But I think ultimately what hinges with Cronin is what is the result? Is this going to crater? And it's poor performances all around. I won't be shocked if Dundon comes in and says, thanks, but I'm going to do my thing. Now, if you are a feisty team that's making Ann Edwards say that's a really good team over there, that's not an easy win anymore.
And those DNA traits stay even with the departure of Chauncey.
And you've signed Tamani, who looked good last night, and you signed Shaden Sharp, and he has a good season. Like, all of those things are true. I think Joe's hanging. Joe's great he's great with people. He's got a good personality. He's even tempered. Like, he's not, hey, it's me guy. Like, they had a little docu-series on them through the draft process, and who talked? It wasn't even Joe Cronin. It was Schmitz. So it's like that guy is willing, I think, to be the ultimate team guy of, I'm technically the guy in charge, but this is a collaboration. And I love that approach, but I think it all hinges on how they perform. If they perform well and live up to what the buzz has been about them, I think he comes in and they look for a coach. I really hope it's not the interim guy is made the permanent guy. Like, open the thing up. That's the thing.
Would you give Mike Malone a call right now? Because this is unique. It's one game into the season. It's not like you're 57 games in and you just started your year. I mean, the regular season doesn't end until April.
Here's the thing, man. Like, their two biggest hires have not been opened up.
No.
Now, you can say, they did open up the coaching. Dude, Neil hired his guy.
He hired his buddy.
And then they leaked a little thing. We liked Becky Hammond. It's like, okay. Joe was the interim, and they didn't interview for it. They just kind of gave it to him. So I hope that this one they would take a little more serious and say, what's our team? Okay, let's see what that involves and how it develops.
How attractive to that point is the job now, too,
It's
because
gotta
of
be
the
a great
roster
job.
that you built.
If they play the way we think they can play and they stay
Yes.
healthy, dude, that's a great job.
Yeah.
And I'm not beholden to needing Malone. I know that's the popular thing right now, and I wouldn't be mad at Mike Malone. He's just won a ring. He's a good coach.
Mm-hmm.
But is there a OKC Daignault out there? Is there a guy that like we don't know his name, but he's really well respected and he's on the come up and he knows how to like continue to develop talent? Open it up. I'm kind of putting my vote in on that now. Like maybe you go Malone because you want to settle the waters and have that veteran coach presence. He also is known as being a red ass. So the minute they lose 4 games in a row, is he going to start getting a little, short with guys? I don't know. So I'm open to all of it, really, but I think I vote for like let the season play out. Let's see what this team is and how
With
they
whoever
respond.
the interim guy is, and likely we
And
know
then
who
open
that
it
is.
up,
But
dude.
yeah.
Let's open the thing up. I don't feel like we've really done that.
Agree with you there. How do you want Portland to handle this next coaching search, which will be announced at any moment? I'm sure the Blazers still have not said anything. The fan text line to interact with us is 503-864-6326. We're also live on YouTube, and the YouTube chat is there's a lot going on there today. We'll just say that. There's a lot going on the YouTube chat this morning. By the way, if you're liking or if you're watching the video, like it while you're there. Give it a thumbs up, man. Have you hit that subscribe button yet? That's all you got to do.
Like live commercials.
It's just a free little click. That's all you do. What does Pate say? Keeps the show free, technically? Yeah, what do you think?
Well, let me ask you
So go
this,
subscribe to the
'cause
channel if you haven't done so yet.
I know you want to get to the
Yeah.
second hour. You can maybe noodle on it. Like, where are you at on it?
I got an answer for you.
Okay.
And I want to know how Swag feels. I want to know how the listeners feel. Where should they go from here? Is this a blessing in disguise? I think that's existing in the back of my mind for the organization right now because we just didn't know what he was as a head coach and how it was going to play out long term, and they just gave him a long contract extension, which they're going to be able to get out of.
Is it long?
Well, I mean, 3 years. No, I mean, not anymore. He's out of a job in a couple hours. Let's get to the final hour of the show. We'll reset things. If you're just getting your car, big news. Chauncey Billups got arrested. Next, 105.1 FM The Fan.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, Trailblazer Nation still trying to comprehend what the morning has brought when the news broke just after 5:30 from Shams Charania and ABC News that Trailblazer head coach Chauncey Billups was arrested by the feds. Part of an illegal gambling inquiry. Billups arrested on charges of conspiracy to commit wire fraud, part of an illegal poker operation with ties to the mafia of knowingly participating in rigged poker games. Billups expected to appear in court later today in Portland. He will later go to Brooklyn for a formal arraignment. Trailblazers on the court showed all the signs of becoming a team that fans have been waiting for. They led the Timberwolves for 3.5 quarters before Anthony Edwards closed for the T-Wolves, leading his squad on an 18-9 run. They hand Portland a 118-114 loss. Ant finished with 41. Jeremy Grant coming off the bench led Portland with 29 points. They host Golden State Friday night. The Portland Timbers shaking off their slow finish to the regular season to knock out Real Salt Lake 3-1 in the MLS Western Conference wildcard game. They get a brace from Felipe Mora and move on to round one, best of 3 against San Diego. Game 1 this Sunday in Southern California. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of Sports Network.
Hey, let's do this. Final hour. Dirt and Sprague here. Portland Sports Leader, 105.1 FM, The Fan, 1080 AM, the Odyssey app, live on YouTube. Good morning, everybody.
I will tell you, I don't like to say this publicly. Those Duck Grateful Dead gear is pretty
pretty
sick.
spot on, man.
How are you not dropping a couple hundo?
I have not bought anything yet, but every time I see a picture or something, I'm like, man, I would wear the hell out of that.
You know, I don't know if you'll end up buying all of the gear, but if I was to equate it to the show, they're definitely the face card, and you are absolutely the fish.
They're going to lure me in and steal all my money this weekend, man.
Dude.
If I get there early enough for the pregame show, I will 100% walk over to the Duck store and just kind of peruse and see what they got available.
The teddy bears on there. They got the tie-dye T-shirt.
It's well-done stuff. You don't even have to like the Grateful Dead. It's badass that what they've done.
Do you know how many people don't listen to the Grateful Dead that's going to rock the Grateful Dead Duck gear?
Yep.
And I'm going to say you're one of them.
Speaking of which, Dan Lanning will be on primetime today at 4 o'clock.
Hey, Dan, you ever played cards?
Hey, are you involved in the mob? Please don't, Dan.
Oof.
Are you a face card? If you are, stop being a face card. I'm pretty encouraged about the future. Don't
That
be a
dude
face card.
has no time to play poker. It's
Zero time.
It's football.
Also, one programming note coming up here in a bit. Ben Golliver will join the firm of Harrison Meringue at 10:45.
There we go.
This morning. So
that's what we call
45
synergy.
minutes into their show, they will have a guest on. Danny Meringue he's woken up. He's tweeting. He's awake. So good morning. To everybody out there, if you're just getting in your car and wondering, hey, I wonder what the guys are talking about today. Anything interesting going on? Let me tell you something. I had a text from a buddy driving in. I was like 4 minutes away from the studio. I was listening to Terry Boyd's World over on KGON, our wonderful friends.
Hell yeah, brother.
Jamming out to some sticks, feeling good, getting the vibes going, drinking my coffee. And I had a text from a buddy that said, Chauncey Billups arrested by the FBI, and then spent the rest of my 3 or 4 minute commute breaking the law and trying to read my phone and see what the hell is he talking about. What did Chauncey Billups get arrested for? Come running in. You guys are here and everybody's reacting. Chauncey Billups was arrested by the FBI this morning. There was a press conference that we aired on our show a little under 2 hours ago. If you want to go check that on the podcast or on our YouTube feed, you can just scroll back and listen to it. Some of it is not noteworthy. Some of it is very juicy, and we'll get to that audio here in a moment for those. He was among more than 30 people indicted this morning on 2 separate cases involving NBA figures. The other one, which as of now it did not appear Billups was involved in, allegedly used inside information to bet on basketball games. That's not the one connected to Billups, which I imagine is the only bit of positive news for the NBA today, is that a sitting head coach was not connected Pete Rose style to gambling on or against NBA teams. It's one thing for players to do props, and that's still an ugly look. To have a sitting head coach do it would have been a whole different thing for them. They have not said, the prosecutors, whether there was a link between the 2 different sides. That's the Terry Rozier side of it. If you're wondering, he was also arrested. He was on the gambling on game front and the prop bet stuff. He will be arraigned, Chauncey Billups, that is, this morning in Portland at the federal courthouse. He's been accused of money laundering, wire fraud, conspiracy. And essentially what they're saying is that Chauncey Billups, in connection with the mafia, acted as a face card, was what they called it, and he would lure people in to what was rigged poker games and essentially take a cut of it. And so they had technology to read cards, and they had, a survey, a way to decipher, what everybody had, and basically make sure the games were rigged. And he would, lure these people into the poker games, in these rigged poker games involving a bunch of former pro athletes. They were the face cards, and then they would win the poker games and essentially steal tens of millions of dollars. I've seen a lot of people comment about the current political climate between the federal government and the city of Portland and wondering if there's a connection there. It should also be added, they said that this investigation was ongoing for years. This wasn't something that just popped up in the last 3 weeks of like, let's embarrass the city of Portland. I understand the want to connect the two things, but I think this has been going on for a long time. And this is all going to be based out of Brooklyn. This is a crime family. It's like, it's a mafia that they're trying to go after. Chauncey Billups just happened to show up at one of these games and be involved in this scheme, and that's how he got swept up into this. It wasn't an investigation that had anything to do originally with him or the Trailblazers, but our heads are spinning. Chauncey Billups allegedly working with the mafia to rig poker games to scam people out of tens of millions of dollars, and he's going to be in a federal courthouse this afternoon.
The New York Times reports the indictment said one unnamed co-conspirator told a co-defendant, Eric Ernest, that the Blazers were tanking ahead of a March 24th, 2023 game, and that a certain player would sit out. Ernest then shared that information with Marv's Fairley, who shared it further and bet on it. So the Blazers are involved in the Chauncey side, but also they're involved in a game situation with a gambling game. So
that's really bad. Not that this already wasn't bad.
Well, also it's like, you can kind of tell when teams are tanking. But
not that there was breaking
player
news
being sat out is
and somehow that information getting relayed before a bet was made.
Yeah.
Did that information come from the head coach of the team?
I mean, right now it always says the indictment said one unnamed co-conspirator told a co-defendant that the Blazers were tanking ahead and that a certain player would sit out. So how that's relayed, I don't know. I can't pretend to know. I don't want to pretend to know. I kind of want to wait for more of this information to get. An absurd thing to wake up to, an absurd thing to see.
Where does this rank in terms of just crazy local sports breaking news stories?
I mean, I said this earlier, and Russ tried to correct me as if I meant like all of sports in our entire life. I think locally, this is the craziest local sports story you've ever had.
I'm trying to think of anything else that's even come close to it.
I mean, the Trailblazer era didn't have.
But those were like
moments.
Once we knew that they were a bad bunch of apples, if you will,
dogfighting and weed.
I mean, after they piled up, you're almost just like, when's the next one going to drop? And you're like, oh, he handed a player card while smoking weed in a Hummer. Got it. Okay, like I think it got to a point where we weren't necessarily surprised by the continuation of the news. Would there be like a Tanya Harding connection since she was a local athlete to hire somebody to whack Nancy Kerrigan in the leg? Does that count as a local story?
Yeah, I think it does.
Because that was a shocking story. Why? That was a shocker.
Yeah. That's up there. I'm trying to think of other ones. Gary Anderson quitting and not wanting the buyout.
A lot of rocks that didn't get overturned there on that one of just, wait, you don't want us to pay you? Why is that? You know what? Let's not ask any questions.
It's actually pretty funny. There's a picture of Shohei Ohtani and says, what a convenient time to leave the country. People don't forget.
That would have been the only way that this got any better, was that if somehow Shohei Ohtani was connected into this.
Any
and
better? It'd be terrible.
Banned from baseball and playing in the World
I
Series.
think it's fair to question today a lot, and I know not everybody's going to do the whole show, so we apologize, but it's just like caught us so off guard that this happened. The NCAA coincidentally just okayed college athletes to gamble on pro sports. And if there's anything you want to try to walk back in a moment, it has to feel like that. You know what ESPN did this morning? Thanks to one of our listeners for pointing this out, because we don't get to see everything that happens on TV. During their announcement of this on their Get Up show, they took their ticker bar off.
Because it had lines on it?
Because it was brought to you by ESPN Bet.
Yeah.
Like, they don't take the ticker off. But because it had the gambling sponsorship attached to it, it took it off. And all the jokes have been made that they're going to talk about this on all the NBA podcasts. And like, hey, what's next for the Blazers? You'll find out next. Hey, so-and-so here for FanDuel. And there's going to be a weird vibe with that. And I know this isn't necessarily tied to legal sports gambling, but it is a very weird time we're living in. It has to make you think it's a simulation with the amount of gambling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like everything is tied to gambling at this point. And so all of it is very weird, but I think Tanya Harding's a very good one. But she's like Portland adjacent. She's not like, this is the head coach of our team.
And that didn't happen in Portland when they were at the Olympics, right? When that happened? So wherever she was just Portland adjacent because she grew up here and was training here and all that. So it was a local athlete like, oh my God, Tanya Harding from the Lloyd Center.
I mean, she practiced at the ice rink at Clackamas Town Center. And
Clackamas' very own.
So
stand up.
We were talking about in the last segment. I want to continue this on the other side, and we can get your thoughts on it too, Swag. Of just where, like, from a head coaching angle, we still don't have any word from the Blazers. They're doing their due diligence, I'm sure, and all their lawyers are earning their.
You never answered my question.
I want to get to that next of just what they do from here, because it is an interesting conundrum of it's one game into the season. Also, the guy who is likely to be the interim head coach. Do we need to revisit how things went when he was in Indiana?
I think it's fair to wonder that.
Just ask the question aloud.
Okay, because there's another coach that maybe not quite as known or loud about, but had some similar things with him, and he has completely become a different person. And I'm not saying
that guys can't evolve and change and all that.
Well, yeah, and I'll tell you who that is.
Okay, so I want to get to that coming up next. What should they do with this position, interim guy, rest of the year? Do you wait till the new owner takes over to officially hire the guy? Do you clean house with everybody involved, upper management? Just, hey, you know what? Clean slate. Let's start over. This is pretty ugly. I don't know where they're going to go.
Herbert going to win tonight? I mean, there's so much.
We got Thursday night. Am I going to? I mean, look. I know the timing of it's not great.
Don't do it.
I might Sprague the line on the game tonight.
Hey, friend here.
Dude, by the way,
friend here.
How phenomenal are our Sprague and the Line sponsor? The fake sponsor is going to be tomorrow. Tomorrow at 9:30 is going to be an all-time memorable Spraguing the Line.
Well, Spraguing the Line, for those that don't know, we make our 3 picks every week in the NFL, and you can make fun of us at 503-864-6326.
Yep.
And referencing our Spraguing the Line picks.
Tomorrow's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks, everybody, for being along for this ride.
Well, today's been fun.
Today's been a lot of fun. Whirlwind, one of the quicker shows that I can remember. What did they do next at head coach, the Portland Trail Blazers, as Chauncey Billups arrested by the FBI this morning? We'll start tackling that question a little bit more next. 105.1 FM, The Fan.
AM.
All right, this coverage will continue on 105.1 FM The Fan coming up top of the hour with the firm of Harris and Meringue. Again, a reminder that Ben Golliver will be on at 10:45. These are those days, too, where, look, a lot of the stuff that we've done behind the scenes as a station has been awesome and overdue, and we're so thrilled with the new lineup and the FM and all that stuff. These are the days where it's like, how nice is it, one, to have a fourth hour, because we would have been off the air 18 minutes ago. Just like, all right.
Touche.
And then we just go from one live show into another live show, which is just, this is why we are Portland's sports leader. The statement from the NBA being released, quote, "We are in the process of reviewing the federal indictments announced today. Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups are being placed on immediate leave from their teams, and we will continue to cooperate with the relevant authorities. We take these allegations with the utmost seriousness, and the integrity of our game remains our top priority." That is the statement. It should also be noted, too, by the way, I think at the press conference earlier, they said the NBA cooperated with the FBI throughout this, and I don't know how long ago they let the NBA know. I don't know, where it came from. Somebody also bringing up a great point. Shams had the breaking news today, basically right after the arrest happened. Mm-hmm. How did he get that news?
How did he announce before anybody in the entire world that Trump had COVID?
Those are just like, who
gave him that?
How
That's
do you
the
get
news
that
I
nugget?
always want to know is he was the guy.
Because player trades and contracts and, you got agents in the pocket. I get all of that. This is... Why? You got a source in the FBI?
Proceedings in New York. He's in New York,
It's just why when that was a great point that I hadn't thought about.
Trump COVID
I know the Trump COVID one was
his
a big
all-timer
one a number of years ago. So Chauncey Billups, for those wondering, has now been placed on immediate leave from the Blazers by the NBA, not by the organization itself. The NBA has stepped in and said he is on immediate leave.
Did the I'm assuming, right? And be careful assuming the league had to. The team in the league talked, and they were like, "We're going to handle this for you."
Yes.
Because
I would imagine
we
so.
still haven't
To be
gotten
fair.
anything.
No.
I'll have to check and see. Not yet, but
no statement emails from the Blazers yet.
The NBA, man. They had a great night last night, if you follow it at all.
Wemby had a historic performance.
And today is all about...
How about Edge coming Philly? What he looked
Unbelievable.
Like. Dude, he was so good last night.
Unbelievable.
Now everybody's going to talk about gambling for the next couple of weeks around the NBA. I got more games today, too. The debut of Inside the NBA on
ESPN?
On ESPN last night.
Yeah.
Wild stuff. So we were talking a little bit ago about where you go from here, just from a coaching angle. A lot of people are being adamant about how is Mike Malone not the first phone call that you're making as an organization. It should also be noted that, again, the pronunciation of it, Nate Bjorkgren is likely going to be the interim coach. That would be our guess.
He's the lead assistant.
He's the lead assistant, so that's usually how this works. His time in Indiana did not go well. He was at Indiana for 1 year as their head coach.
Mm-hmm.
And he was essentially ran out of town after a year. His players hated him. He was known as a red ass. He just was not. He did not come in with a good reputation from a personality standpoint, not from a basketball standpoint, but from a personality standpoint. And so, just to remind people, that was the label on him after his 1 year in Indy, and now he's been in Portland. Obviously, I think he came over last year. He came over in 2023. And then from Toronto as an assistant and has been here for 2 years now. So this will be his third year with the organization. He's likely going to be the guy, and I think it probably makes the most sense to make him the interim coach for the foreseeable future. I find the timing of it very interesting, and I would be very tempted to find out where is the level of interest from guys who you respect or think might be the right candidate for the job, considering the pieces that you have. And I would have a hard time just naming an interim coach and just saying, okay, that's it, and running out the rest of the season. There's a lot on the line this year in terms of what they're trying to prove and what they're trying to accomplish. There are 81 remaining home games. Maybe this name doesn't do it for anybody because I don't believe he landed anywhere.
40 remaining home games.
Oh, yeah, 40 remaining home games, 81 remaining overall games of the season. Tom Thibodeau didn't land anywhere, right?
Nope.
That do anything for you?
Well, okay, but this is what we're doing in the NBA, and I totally understand it, and maybe they go the direction. We're just naming the names we know. Not a single person listening or doing the show knew who Mark Daignault was before he ran the Thunder.
No.
Would you like him?
Yeah, I'd also like SGA on my team. That would help, too.
Okay, that's fair. He helped develop SGA and that entire nucleus because he was the G League guy who got brought up, and they went through some absolute dog crap to get to where they got to. Seems like a pretty bright dude. I don't know if it's as cut and dry as go get the biggest name that I know of versus what's the collective basketball world think.
Yeah.
And there might be the guy in there that nobody knows and nobody's heard of, and he's assistant on the rise. and they go that direction. I don't know. There's a lot, and we're getting a little ahead of ourselves because I don't think they're going to go that direction this quickly. Let's see what Bjorkgren is, right? Like, and here's the other part. We don't know if he's going to become the permanent guy and what he is, but I tend to agree that when you see him, he's the guy off the bench whispering something to Chauncey, and then Chauncey does something, so I assume he's telling Chauncey something, right? He didn't have a great year in Indy. Many people pointed that when he was brought in as an assistant. There was another coach who's currently coaching a pretty good team in the association that had a similar reputation. Kenny Atkinson was a big red ass who had people skill problems. He left Brooklyn. He became an assistant with Steve Kerr, and he has already cited Steve Kerr as a guy who completely changed his worldview of how to manage personalities, how to be a leader. Like, the guy knows hoop. He knows ball. Mm-hmm. He's evolved as a coach, but it's the personality part. How do you connect to people? How do you learn from past experience? He's a guy that's coaching a pretty good Cavs team that has openly said, I wasn't good at that. And Steve Kerr showed me and taught me. And so you take little things. Bjorkgren didn't have a great experience in Indiana. I don't know if he's still that guy. Maybe being in Portland for a couple years has changed that. Say what you want about Chauncey today and him being arrested. Personable guy, player's coach, right? So we don't know the personality types of these guys from year to year. Some of these guys evolve and they learn.
Very fair.
And I understand why we go Thibodeau or why we go Malone. Those are names we know. There's also a ton of coaches none of us know that could just as well be perfect for what the roster ends up becoming.
I just don't know that you need if everything within the team organization, operation, and the assistants, and you've got that rapport and everybody's seemingly pulling in the same direction on the rope, I don't know that you necessarily try to rock the boat and bring some outside person in right now. I mean,
a tough spot to put a guy in.
It's a tough spot to put a guy in. If you get into a Thibodeau or Malone, how much money are they going to command to come into this situation? How much do they want? You still have the pending sale. So
yeah, Dundon's going to have a say in this, right?
So, yeah.
Not going to hire Thibodeau without him knowing.
I know we threw it out jokingly. I'm more serious. I don't know why you would not have a conversation with Dame.
Well, somebody pointed out the CBA actually prohibits players under contract to be player coaches. Now, if that's true, then okay. But that was what somebody had responded to we joked about the poll question because they're going to make it a coach.
Because the idea of it
let
makes
all the
sense.
Assistants continue to do everything, but to have Dame out there, the one up,
he's your rallying guy, doing the press conferences after the game. He's a much better face of the organization than anything.
What did Chauncey say?
Anybody else you could pick?
He joked about this. He's like, he's going to be the highest paid assistant.
Yes, because and what was he doing all last night? Sitting on the bench, standing up, clapping, like telling guys to get after it, applauding good effort. Like, yeah.
I will say that, like, when they signed Dame initially, like, I understood the emotional part of that, how big and, like, random that was. But I also had this kind of thought of, like, the full mid-level for a guy not playing. That's a little bit of like, oh, okay.
For 1 year, you're not even going to see him.
Yeah, I saw the questions, and I thought they were valid on that. Man, today you are feeling good about that because you need the most stable voices right now possible, and there's been no other Blazer maybe ever in the category of consummate Blazer guy who understands the culture that's been established and continues to be, knows the market, like he just knows everything about the organization, and that, like, it's the one moment you look at and you go, yep, worth it, because you're going to need that guy a crap ton this year on that bench.
And
the
one,
on your vets.
And his leadership will come. I'm sure they will shield the players from press. He's the one player that they'll ask us at Dame, are you okay to take some questions on this?
He's the guy that you would trust to be able to do it.
And you absolutely trust him. It's him and Cronin, and that's it.
Do they have to have a press conference today, you guys think? Like, do you think they will, or do you think they have to?
I don't know if they're required. I don't know. The NBA might cut them some slack today.
Because what are they going to say? All the questions are going to be answered, or it's just we have to wait until the legal process plays out. And
I agree.
I would be surprised if there ended up being a press conference.
You can either stonewall it with that. The only people, there's two people that I would expect to get in front of a microphone: Joe Cronin and Damian Lillard. Those are the only two.
Not the owner of the team, huh?
Well, he's not the owner yet.
No, I mean the current owner of the team.
Burke Colt doesn't do press conferences.
Somebody texting in, God, this is such a perfect encapsulation of the end of the Jody era, ending with scandal. Good riddance.
Yeah, I mean,
that's not her fault, but you know what? Yeah. What the hell? I don't care. It is. Thank God she's on her way out.
Yeah.
Two quick notes on this, and then I want to read some other listener thoughts just on the day and the news that we've gotten.
Sure.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Last year, when Milwaukee brought in Doc Rivers, that was not at the start of the year, and he was not on staff. Am I right on that?
He was a consultant for Adrian Griffin.
Okay, the general manager.
No,
Oh, Griffin's
no,
the
he
coach.
was the head coach.
Okay.
Remember, he got fired.
But he
like
wasn't
10
on the
games.
staff, wasn't he? Was he on
a
the bench?
Consultant.
Okay.
He was paid to give advice on what he's seeing and observing and passing it to the coach. And then when the coach got fired,
they made him the guy.
And they're like, did you stab him in the back?
Yes. Okay.
And
But he
he's still
wasn't
the coach.
sitting on the bench as an assistant. He was just a behind the scenes.
I thought he was still doing.
I thought he was too.
He
but
was doing media. He was doing his podcast with Simmons and consulting Buck stuff.
Because I wanted it, it's weird when you bring in a new coach and the season has already begun. And now that is a little bit different to your point because he was a consultant. So that's, there's that angle of it. But I also thought this is an interesting point. One listener saying, I think bringing in a proven head coach, the optics look a lot better right now. And right now the Blazers kind of need that. And so to the point of just where would you want to go, you do have the ability to bring somebody from outside the organization in, and does it help the optics to have somebody who is respected, who's been done it before, who doesn't have any sort of questionable things in their past? And I just wonder
from a business standpoint of the pending sale and who's calling the shots and all of those sorts of things. If one of those big names that we've discussed, what it would take for them to commit to it, how much money, how much security. I want a guaranteed, 4 or 5 year deal.
Is Tom Dundon willing to sign off on that?
And
next
who's signing off on it? Yeah, exactly.
So, all right, let's read some thoughts that you guys have. 503-864-6326. We're not going to be able to get to all of them, but I do want to get some listener feedback on this. We'll play some of the sound for you at some point here in the final 30 minutes of the show. There is a Thursday night football game tonight.
Are you going to do it? Are you going to do it?
I might do it, yeah. I've already locked in the bet personally. I just haven't decided if I want to Sprague the line on it yet.
They're just such a weird team.
No doubt about it.
Both of them are.
And it's Thursday night football. It's really stupid of me. Maybe I'm getting lured in by a face card to gamble on this game tonight. Where is Chauncey when you need him? We'll read some of your thoughts coming up next, but first here's us with a update.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, congratulations to the Portland Timbers. Despite one win in their final 10 regular season matches, they did stumble into the playoffs, hosting a wild card game, and they came with some vengeance. Felipe Mora with a pair of goals. Kamal Miller had the clincher. 3-1 over Real Salt Lake. Now they get the top seed San Diego in a best-of-3 series, Game 1 Sunday night in San Diego.
I got a soccer match to watch today, this afternoon.
Forrest and their new manager.
I know. We got a Des Bois. Good job, Neville. Way to get the job done for the Timbers.
Never doubted, Jim.
Are you a dog or cat person?
Dog.
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 All
Dog.
dogs.
Well, how about this? Maybe you're not good people. Dartmouth College research found that cat owners donate more money to charities than dog owners.
It's because they probably don't have kids, so they have more disposable income. My wife keeps trying to bring home a cat.
Oh, I'm probably going to end up with a cat at some point, too.
She keeps trying to bring one home, and every time I'm like, no.
They're pretty easy.
We're not no.
Get
over my dead body. We are not adding a cat.
Get an
you
automatic
want a second
litter
kid
box.
and a cat? No.
Oh, which is it?
No.
Cat or second kid? What would you rather have?
Next question. We haven't talked about it yet today.
Where's the water bottle?
Yeah. Shut it down, Swag. Shut it down. Kind of a sad story out of the NFL. Out of Monday night, Mike Evans got hurt again, and I don't know what his future is going to be the rest of the year.
Yeah, broken collarbone.
Dude, his streak's going to end. This is it. Yeah. 11 straight years of 1,000 receiving yards, the longest to ever start a career, and tied for the longest in NFL history with Jerry Rice. Will officially come to an end this year for Mike Evans.
Good job, Mike Evans. Hall of Famer.
Yes,
Hall of Famer.
Definitely Hall of Famer. More soccer, dog and cat, and NFL Hall of Famer stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of
All right.
Sprague in the line.
Sprague in the line. Sprague in the line.
Bum, 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 bum.
Dude, I had a whole smorgasbord of college football coach audio
Dude,
I was ready to play. Hugh Freeze is openly begging his athletic director for a vote of confidence in front of the media, and it is the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen. And I wanted to play that audio for you today, but damn it, Chauncey.
I have some fun NFL audio
Swagalicious.
to play you tomorrow. Some really fun audio. One cut we're all going to relate to the most. And I never used to like this guy. I didn't hate him, but I didn't like him. I might buy a jersey. I like him so much based on what he said.
We had a quarterback admit that he can't see the middle of the field yesterday.
We didn't need him to admit that.
No,
he's
but also
5'10".
saying the quiet part out loud of like...
He also admitted after the game that he's not preparing for games right. He said, I'm disappointed in my ability to prepare for these games.
Every time Tua opens up his mouth,
It's
he says
worse.
something stupider than the last time. We're going to effort to get some audio turned around and play for you in the final segment of the show.
It's lengthy, but it's worth it.
It's lengthy, and it was from the podcast that we talked about earlier in the show.
Yeah.
If you miss it, it's a whirlwind. Essentially, there was a podcast that was done called the podcast is called Only Friends, and Matt Berkey is the host, and he had an episode 2 years ago talking about a rigged poker game.
2021.
2021.
I
Is that
think
when
is
it came
when
out?
the podcast episode came out.
Talking about a rigged poker game, including Chauncey Billups, essentially how everybody incorporated with the game knew that it was rigged and knew that they were stealing everybody's money. So we're going to try and turn that around and play for you coming up here in the final segment, and then we'll send you on your way as this news will continue to evolve, and we'll see what the firm of Harrison Meringue has to say about it. Somebody's saying, fellas, in this country, innocent until proven guilty. Let's also remind ourselves that the FBI is run by Kash Patel. Most of the good agents have been fined or forced out. Let's slow our roll on next coach. He's not going to coach the Blazers again. You can feel however you want about the FBI and the director on this is not a political segment. This is not going to go. The NBA is not going to allow him to be on a sideline. We're hearing from people who know people on the case or FBI agents of this is some pretty concrete stuff. If you think this is just a hit from Kash Patel to knock Portland or something, I understand the inclination. I'm tired of the helicopters over my head too. They're flying all over Southeast Portland. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
I grant you that. This investigation has been going on for years. This has been built up. One of these alleged poker games happened in 2019 back in Vegas and also in Los Angeles. So this isn't something new that just got kicked up in the last 6 months. I understand why people feel that way, but that has nothing to do with this. And Chauncey Billups, you never want to put the cart too far in front of the horse, but I feel very confident in saying he will never coach an NBA game again and be associated with the NBA again.
I think if the NBA itself steps in and puts him on administrative leave and not the team, it's gone up a level. And look, nobody is sitting here concluding what a sentence he's going to get or what it's going to be. It's more.
He's not going to prison for life. He'll get out.
The NBA, even before Chauncey, man, that Jonte Porter story last year was ugly for them.
Yes.
And the last thing you want from a league that admittedly had a ref go to prison for fixing playoff games, robbed the Sacramento Kings of what should have been their championship, you have to care about this. I mean, everybody cares. They have to care about this a little more right now. They're coming off of the heels of the aspiration Kawhi Leonard. Did you really have an endorsement, or did you just find a way to go around the salary cap and give him $28 extra million? Then you've got Jonte Porter. Now you've got Terry Rozier, and that was around last year, and it's carried over into this year. And now you got a sting operation involving multiple coaches, one of which our head coach. I don't know what the innocence or guilt is going to be. We're not going to that. And I understand, even coach stuff, I don't think they're going to go that avenue yet. I have a hard time believing, man, that guy's coaching again in the National Basketball Association.
Yes, when you're associated with something like this.
That's all we're saying.
Yes. P1 Brian chiming in saying the one thing I keep asking and making me shake my head is why? Why, Chauncey? When I drove for UPS once or twice a year, you'd hear of a driver somewhere in the U.S. getting fired for stealing. We make $140,000 a year with all the benefits paid by the union, 6-figure annual pensions at retirement. Why would you risk your entire livelihood for something you could buy?
Wait, what?
When we would all wonder $5 million a year for Chance
what
for
can
what?
Brown do for me?
Evidently good things. You need any more drivers? I'm coming over.
I'll say this. You guys earn it, man. You guys work your arses off.
Dude, they absolutely do. I also am asking the same question. I think a lot of us are. Whenever you have somebody who makes, his salary yearly is $2 million a year to be the head coach of the Blazers. We looked at it earlier in contracts in the NBA. Now, again, this is not take home. It's taxes and all that.
Sure.
his contract, make career earnings was over $100 million as a player for 17 years.
But he wouldn't be the first player with that kind of money to lose all that money, and we don't know how his life is.
Worked in broadcasting, got back into coaching. He's making $2 million a year now. Like, a lot of questions of and it gets back to, were you on hard times? Did you fall into some gambling woes yourself? So there's a lot of questions that we're still trying to answer. Let's play this audio. So I'm trying to find. Let me pull up the Reddit stream.
The No Friends podcast.
I just want to make sure.
Is that what it is? No Friends.
The podcast is called Only Friends.
Only Friends. Thank you.
Not to be confused with OnlyFans. It's Only Friends.
Well, it is a play on the OnlyFans.
It kind of is. When Desi said it, and then I had to do a double take of wait, did you say only? Okay, Only Friends. Got it. Let me just scroll. God, we have so many mentions today. This is going to take me a second.
Oh, humble brag by you.
Okay, August 21st, 2023. Okay, I just wanted to confirm. That's when this podcast came out. August 21st, 2023. Matt Berkey is a well-known, high-connected, high-stakes poker player who does this podcast. Mm-hmm. Here is the story he told. This is 2 years ago.
This must have been 5 years ago, 2019-ish, I think, 4 years ago, where there was this game. It started in LA and then it came to Vegas for a few days, and it was all built around Chauncey Billups. And I had heard about the game, and the person who told me about it was like, "Look, I know the game runners. I'm telling you 100% this game is on the up and up." And I was like, "Well, I know a lot of the people that are involved, and I'm telling you 100% that it is not on the up and up."
Yeah.
And we kind of went back and forth, and I agreed that I just wasn't going to go play it, but I had some friends who went and played it both in LA and in Vegas, and it obviously was for sure confirmed to be cheated. Mm-hmm. People who clearly didn't even understand the rules of No Limit Hold'em are just jamming hundreds of big blinds in with a gutty and then just drilling it. Yeah. Only the pros are losing.
How is it figured out? It just
I can't remember if this was the game where
over the loudspeaker.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
That was Peart.
Oh, okay. Well, it's still. I mean, it's not like Chauncey and Pierce don't know each other. I feel like it's probably the same crowd overlapping there.
Gotcha.
But maybe not.
So that was from 2 years ago. Talking about, that's a known high-stakes poker player saying that Chauncey, I was invited to play in this game.
Well,
that
the story is the actual thing happened 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, the poker game happened. The podcast came out in 2023. The actual event happened in 2019, and that is, I believe, this is the game that they have listed as one of the main things that they were investigating when he got tied into this. Was in 2019. Yeah. He got invited to go play in the game and was like, no, and he said the entire thing centered around Chauncey Billups. And this is the interesting part that will, I think, be a follow-up for the Blazers organization. This is on a podcast 2 years ago. This event technically took place in 2019 that is being investigated. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many more games he was involved with since then. I don't know if any of them were under his role as the head coach of the Blazers. But, this is not...
Those are things that you're like, hey, you don't want to drop that
Oh, my God,
ball.
where did this come from? This is out there. There was a Reddit post from Blazer fans 2 years ago, and you just gave him a contract extension as the head coach of your team.
It's a tough look today, man, and you're not blaming them for him making these poor decisions and being involved in this situation, but also, it's tough not to go. You don't just peruse Rip City Reddit once a day to see if there's something random that everybody misses and somebody caught.
Yeah.
Look, it's pretty awful what they are alleging he did here, and it's not really a shock that when you have high-stakes gamblers, they're called fish here, and the accusation is he would lure him in with his face and his celebrity and get people to gamble. Now, some people didn't know what they were doing. I bet you there's some pretty high-level card players, though, that were invited, and they, as you just heard there, they were picking up of this ain't right.
Nope, this smells fishy.
This is not right, and those guys know it. They know it as soon as they can, identify it, and so... Man, I don't know where this is going to go, which is a wild-ass day for us.
Crazy stuff. We'll try and put a bow on it. One last segment for anything else you want to add?
Well, and when I was listening to the FBI press person or whoever in the indictment, and we'll see it, it has to come out at some point. They said there's a picture of one of the games, I don't know if it was Chauncey at that table or not, but if there's a picture and they identify who the known mafia people are, that's part of the indictment, and they said feel free to use it in your news post.
He's sitting at a poker table with known mafia members.
Look for some photos coming out later as part of the materials that were released to the press as part of the indictment.
Yeah, good point. Let's try and wrap things up. Somebody said, thank goodness it's a beautiful day outside. I actually don't know. Is that joking? Is it a nice day today?
No,
or is
the
it pouring down rain?
It's supposed to start raining endlessly tomorrow.
I haven't looked out the window yet, so maybe we get one more day of sunshine before it all goes to hell. But things are going to hell for Chauncey Billups today, and we'll put some final thoughts on it. Wrap up the show next. 105.1 FM, The Fan. Well, just to keep the synergy going, I might have to do something in 5 minutes, but hold on for that. Before we get to that, did you guys know you can't count on much these days, like your NBA coach coaching 2 games into the season, not getting arrested by the FBI, but you can count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Stream your local NFL game live every Sunday all season long. $30 for your first year. That's like $250 a month. ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today.
Isn't the Tulsa King on Paramount Plus?
I think Tulsa King was hanging out with Chance at some of these card games.
Let's go!
Maybe the Tulsa King's the one that turned around and ratted him out. That's how he got in trouble. You just got a text message that is, as the world turns, there's a new layers, and not that we weren't sure that this couldn't happen, but now there's more implications that are getting tossed around.
Keep your radio dials, your YouTubes, your streams, your AM radios, however you're consuming the Fan today, which thank you for hanging with us. We know we've been on one topic, but it's a crazy topic. We'll see what happens and what trickles out. I got this from someone at the Oregonian. So there is a blurb in the indictment that co-conspirator 8 was an NBA player from approximately 1997 through 2014.
Who could that have been?
And an NBA coach since 2021. Would you guys care to guess who that was? Okay. Now that we've established who co-conspirator 8 is.
Who could that have been? Could have been anybody. I don't know. Could have been anybody.
According to the indictment. Now, we know he was bringing people in to gamble tons of money so he could get a chunk of it, right? According to the indictment, co-conspirator 8 told Eric Ernest, who's also involved in this, before the news was publicly announced, several of the Trailblazers' best players, including player 1, an individual whose identity is known to the grand jury, would not be playing in the March 24th game. The information that the Trailblazers would be tanking and not playing player 1 was not available to the public at that time. So he is also potentially involved in the March 24th game that involved the Blazers when the initial announcement of all of this. So it's not just that he
was at a poker game in 2019 and preyed on people to steal their money.
It's that potentially, that's an important word here, he was somebody passing along the information because he was the head coach who would know who's playing and not tanking, not tanking.
Wild stuff, man. This one's going to go. You remember some shows, a lot of shows blend together. It's a grind day in and day out. You're trying to come up with content, and they just kind of, Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays, you're like, what the hell happened last week? I don't know. What did we talk about yesterday? I couldn't tell you.
I forget what I say half the time. That was what you said at that time. I disagree with. Like, what did I say?
What did I say? I don't even remember that. This is one that I'm going to remember for a while. Not often the head coach of your NBA team gets arrested right before you go on the air by the FBI for gambling with the mafia.
No,
and this is one that,
It's certainly a first. I'll say this. This show to me, I have two. Now, we've had a lot of fun doing this. We love that everybody's hanging out with us here in the mornings. We're so appreciative of the fourth hour.
Yes, we are.
And being on the FM dial.
We love you.
There are absolutely now two shows for me. It's going to be this show and the Pac-12 is dead show.
Yeah, when that finally happened. Yeah.
This one, I don't even remember if we did other stuff on the Pac-12 is dead show.
I don't think we did because the conference died. But I remember there was hope throughout the course of the show of like now, remember all the Pac-12 honk reporters?
Tiago Splitter, according to Shams Charania, is the interim head coach.
Tiago Splitter.
Now, what's he most known for to you guys?
So the Blazers have said something then because they clearly told Shams who the interim head coach is going to be.
It's being blocked by LeBron at the rim for me. Or LeBron or Stephen A. just saying his name in a disrespectful manner.
Yeah, there's that for sure, too. Interesting. I did not have that on my bingo card today.
Yeah.
Well, as we wrap up today, I would like to announce I've been fished into Thursday Night Football.
By the way, I got follow-up. The person that sent me that information on the co-conspirator said that was the first game Dame and Nurk sat out. So player 1.
Pretty big player.
Might have been Littero.
Pretty big player.
We're going for Shaden.
Dude, this is bad. This is ugly.
This is
I would like to officially, since we talked about illegal gambling the entire show today, this show is brought to you by Sprague the Line. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it,
dirty
bitch.
Dog.
I have a competition
I'm
problem.
rooting for you.
Joe Alt's back tonight. Well, not officially, but I got a hunch he's going to play. I've been fished into being told that he's going to be in the lineup tonight.
From co-conspirator number 8?
From co-conspirator number 8. He sent me a text. I got a text earlier that said Joe Alt will be back at left tackle. Chargers bounce back. Give me the L.A. Chargers minus 3.5 Thursday Night Football.
The hook is on there.
Sprague in the line, pick number 1 off of a 3-0 weekend, riding the heater into Thursday Night Football. Baby.
I think the Dogs have outright won
I don't
3
care.
straight.
Carson
Thursday Night
Wentz
Football.
sucks.
Yeah, he does.
Get out of here, Minnesota. Hey, that'll do it for us, folks. If you missed any of the show, go check the podcast, 1051thefan.com. I would like to thank everybody. It's probably one of the bigger YouTube audiences we've ever had. If you're in there, like the video while you're there. Subscribe to the channel. We do this every day, 6 to 10 a.m. We love you all. Tomorrow, a programming note, Josh Pate will be on at 7 a.m., moved from his normal time today.
Football Friday.
Football Friday. There will be a lot of football and, I'm sure some reaction to whatever the hell else comes out today that we find out about Chauncey Billups.
Tomorrow.
They got a game tomorrow. Yeah, I kind of want to go now. I'm kind of interested. Coming up at 10:45, you'll have Ben Golliver on with the firm of Harris Meringue, so stick around. The live coverage of this wild, wild day in Rip City continues next. Thanks for being a part of our Thursday, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 6 a.m. The firm of Harris Meringue is next. You're listening to 105.1 FM The Fan.